Hey, all gravity, any day above ground, live it. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your Monday and your week. I'm gonna try something today. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but maybe it will, maybe it won't. Instead of me playing the video on the screen and risking a copyright, I'm gonna try it this way off another phone. So, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try this. Let's see if I can find a good image. Damn, I guess they didn't put that image there. Um, Let me try this. Anyway, how y'all doing today? I always forget to ask that. Let's see if I can find a good still shot. Since everybody's putting up clips now. Boy, she cooked these black conservatives, boy. I'm shocked. But let's see. I guess I'll just have to put a picture of her up. I know, y'all gonna get upset because you're gonna have to stare at her. I get it, but it is what it is. So what we gonna do is I'll let y'all pick it. I'll let y'all pick the photo. I know. My fault. How's it my fault? It's not my fault. Every time we do a Jubilee thing, they copyright me. So I can't do nothing with it. The first one, this one, you want this one? All right, I guess we could use that one. That one's not that bad. But fam, I watched it and it's as bad as you think it is. The amount of cope I saw from self-proclaimed black MAGA and black conservatives last night, it was sad. I can't wait to see. Well, when we get into it, I'll say this part. But all right, fuck it. We'll just where is it? Shit, I lost the page. Here we go. Fuck it. I'll just use this one. Fuck it. All right, here we go. Now even though she cooked them, we're not gonna put her over completely because there were some things in there she did say that was wrong, or not. I wouldn't say wrong, but more she didn't expand on it and explain it correctly. But we'll get into it. All right, here we go. Let's see if this will work.
By 20 black conservatives. My first claim is it is undeniable that reparations are just and necessary.
Now, before we get into it, since you guys can't see the video, do you know Jubilee asked some pregnant black women to come up on there? Now, Jubilee, y'all know y'all were wrong for that. You know she can't get up and run to them seats like everybody else. Why would you do that? And like, it was crazy. But that's Jubilee. Shock value, I guess. Hey, guess who came up first?
All right, reparations, fair, necessary.
Let's see who can guess whose voice that is. Now, if you saw some of my posts last night, y'all know who it is. But if not, yeah, that was Anthony Brian Logan. That Negro got, I guess, either got an email and a little bit of change to go fly all the way to LA to get cooked. Whew.
question would be, who's going to get it? Why would they get it?
He doing it again. He doing it again. Who is gonna get it? ABL, you've been around the reparations conversations long enough. You know exactly who gets it. Oh my God. But again, I would expect no less from someone who admitted on film that the KKK used to come around his house and gave his people Christmas gifts and money to his mom. I would expect no less. Sir, you know exactly who gets the bill, who gets the check. You know that.
And how long are we going to sit here focusing on trying to get reparations? It's been how many years since slavery? 150 years, 1865? Oh, God. Whenever there's a real thing that the country wants.
Sir, slavery actually stopped in the 1970s, but you know, I figured ABL don't go that far. I figured that, but you know, it's okay. It's okay.
To do, they do it. Stop Asian hate. Okay, there's a problem with the Asian hate. Let's draft a bill, sign it, and it's done.
But y'all got a problem with black folks asking for the same thing. Okay.
Anything needs to be done is done. With us, it's a carrot they dangle in front of us that they don't really want to do. And it's not going to help. We need education. Oh, it's not going to help? No, it's not. We need education. Getting a check from the government is not going to do that.
Here's an idea, ABL, since you don't think that far. You know what you could do with that reparations check? Build your own schools. Teach history the way it's supposed to be taught. Invest in these companies in these neighborhoods to teach the youth how to run businesses, how to learn a trade. You could use some of that reparations money, get some politicians to go to DC and lobby for recertification of middle and high schools. So you could give these kids a choice. Maybe invest in these cities that y'all say have low reading scores. Shit. But y'all were sitting there pussy popping when Trump was introducing opportunity zones. Ain't that made with government money? But all right.
And we need proper education. A lot of us go to these institutions where we're not really prepared, we're not really focused, and we don't get things that'll help us in the real world. So if you
that's your damn fault.
A check from the government, from our tax dollars is going to get raised, because let's be clear, everybody in here is black. We all American. We all got to pay taxes.
Now, keep a pin in that, because ABL actually lied. We'll find that out later. Because people did a deep dive, and someone on there is not really black. But, you know.
It'll go to that. So I don't
they just showed the pregnant chick.
It's going to help us at all.
Okay. Well, first I'll start with, it will help on even just a moral level. The reality is that the United States has become very comfortable with the fact that it does not consider black people equal. And it shows that in many ways that I'm sure we will discuss over the course of today. But ultimately, there has not been a committed, concerted effort to shifting the mindset around the use of black people as a labor force in this nation. Back when it was slavery, now in the use of slavery as slave labor in prisons. So on a basic cultural level, reparations are an act of repair. They are an effort to say, our bad, we see you now. We have seen that done with
just like they did in 2022 when them Asians got killed. And they got the C-19 Hate Crimes Act. But, you know, you're right. Yeah, we black people only need more education. But you actively watched your side champion the fact that Trump wanted to end the Department of Education. Now, I'm not caping for him. I'm just trying to tell you a story. And you're hoping that these states, each individual state, is going to teach people enough to function out here in society and also go above and beyond. Okay. Okay.
Japanese folks who were put in internment camps. We have seen that done with Jewish folks. We have seen that done even in the case of slave owners who received
What's up, Tori?
reparations. When it comes to the use of tax dollars to pay reparations, and this is going to come up a lot today, it's a matter of values, right? For me, my value system circulates around the fact that I think that as a community, we should all be engaged in repair for our community.
Now, I know y'all gonna get upset that she said that. That's fine. I get it. I just wanted to throw that out there because I know somebody gonna say something.
So I don't think there should be any problem with there being tax dollars spent at repairing consistent efforts that have been made to impede Black people. So the reparations you're talking about are not just related to slavery. There's reparations that have been.
They just put up the red flag to get ABL up out that chair. Let's get it.
Massacres, as it relates to redlining and the impediment of Black people to earn wealth by having property. There's been impediments in various ways that can be repaired. And I want to also just add, there's reparations that are
Jay,
considered a cash.
Be quiet, because now you sound retarded. If you're not gonna help with the conversation, don't say nothing. You can swipe up. There's other lives people are talking about. Why are you here with Black folks? We're teaching over here. I understand that your vapid brain, as smooth as it is, can't get what we're talking about. I understand. If you be quiet and intake the knowledge, maybe you'll progress, or maybe you won't. That's fine. If you don't want to do that, again, you can swipe up. I'm sure there's somebody sitting at their dining room table right now, crocheting, not saying nothing. They got about 200 people in there. You can join that conversation. You could keep going. There might be somebody with 12 people in there, and they're just staring at their china cabinet. You can go. You can figure out the design of the Wedgwood. It's okay. This may not be for you. This is the Autobahn over here. You might just want to be on a country road. Nothing wrong with that. It's okay.
Payment from a government. There's also the version of reparations that shows up in how funds are applicated to specific groups of people. So there's multiple ways in which what you're stating cannot happen.
ABL is getting cooked. He looks so uncomfortable.
As far as money going towards certain things is going to help us. Let's look at Baltimore public schools.
Here we go.
I think the third most money per pupil in the U.S. of A. Like $1,500 per student.
Good job, ABL. You know some stats. Let's play that game. Democrats and Republicans in Maryland hamstrung Baltimore because you cannot let a port city thrive in this country. Y'all don't want to hear me. And anybody can go fact check me on that. Every port city got some problem with their education. It's always been like that. But, you know, they never think that far.
Yet, the majority of the population that comes from that environment can't read. They're illiterate. So, we're dumping money on the situation.
Right, and you give them repair and let them figure it out. We already know the Maryland legislature in the 80s and 90s took money out of Baltimore and gave it to the surrounding counties. We know that. We're trying to give these Black Americans, the ones that qualify, agency over their own lives to pick themselves up by their bootstraps. That's the phrase y'all love to say. Let them pick themselves up by their bootstraps. If that's how they want to use the money, let them. Why do you care how they use the money? Remember, y'all were running around saying they were going to buy a number of weed cars and Jordans. Okay, money's going right back in the economy, so it doesn't matter. But y'all are scared because we are very educated, and the Black Americans that will qualify for this are going to use that money and surpass the Huolano, and y'all don't like it because then you can't tell them nothing. But that's okay. And ABL swear he black American, but he talking like this. But again, he love the KKK.
Yes, but yet we're not getting the results we should get from it. Money's not going to help the thing. We need to just focus on what we need to focus on. As far as black
What?
people being labor,
He still didn't tell us what we're supposed to focus on. Still didn't tell us this. Yes, you're correct, Chris. And guess what? The white community say the same thing. So if you're not going to hold them accountable for their high crime rate, don't come talking to us about our crime rate. Thank you so much.
force of this country. What else are we doing? We got 25% of us on some kind of government assistance. One out of every few black men will go to jail.
Somebody else held up the flag. This is going to be fun.
Work with our hands, work with tools, do something because we're not doing
Work
much
with
of anything.
tools.
And also,
Work with tools. Okay? I think a reparations check could help somebody build up a business and buy these tools. I'm just saying. I think y'all are scared that they're going to create these black enclaves that y'all can't get into because you want to be around white folks so much. And the money's going to be in there circulating around each other and building up people's agencies, like I said before. And y'all can't say nothing to them. It destroys all your narratives. Because I find it funny that we always have black conservatives that are worried about Baltimore, Philly, and New York, and Chicago, and all this. Yet you have Baldwin Hills in California y'all never bring up. And that's nothing but black professionals and black millionaires. Y'all want to talk about the Atlanta crime rate, but y'all don't talk about how many millionaires sit down and make home in fucking Atlanta. You never talk about that. You don't talk about the successful people in PG County. Never talk about that. You don't want to talk about the successful black people that live in Lake Forest, Illinois, outside of Chicago. Never want to talk about that. Or the successful black people that live in Dallas and Houston. You never want to talk about that. Negro, you guys are going to be out of a job in about 2 years. That documentary will be glorious. I don't know what that motherfucker Chris is missing. Hey, Chris is missing. You're missing a lot of words to make your sentence make sense.
so one more piece here.
One more piece.
Again, always ever in the front of us, never going to happen. As long as you've been living, as long as I've been living, as long as everybody been living, they say we need it, we need it, we need it, and it never gets done. One more piece.
You just said one more piece, then you added another one. So
I promise.
Wait a minute. Go ahead, ABL.
hold on to it.
I'm gonna land the plane.
This nigga said land the plane like he in a Twitter space. Land the plane. Nigga, you wait a minute. ABL, you shouldn't be talking about planes, sir. Your buddy Charlie Kirk already said he don't trust back pilots. He think you gonna crash the motherfucker. Don't do that. I know, Nene, that's why we're not gonna say nothing about it. It's okay. This is what they want. Chris is missing brain cells. It's okay. It's okay.
Land the plane, I promise. Reparations is a thing, like I said, it's a carrot dangle in front of us. They're never really going to get done. And if it was going to get done, it would have already been done. It's just something that they're using to try and make us stay Democrat. That's what I want.
Stay Democrat.
Democrats are not doing
Stay Democrat. Yet you have conservatives that actually advocate for reparations. But okay, it's Democrats. ABL, again, the C-19 hate crimes bill. Only but 3 Republicans said yes. That's including Republicans and conservatives. But you don't want to talk about that. All right.
reparations either. This is not partisan. This is black partisan, baby. Okay? This is not partisan.
How y'all let us say that? What is black partisan?
To be quite honest, you're not talking to a Democrat. You're talking to a radical.
Okay, but
Let's land this plane very quick. Wait, sir.
Oh my God. ABL, how you let a man diva cook you like this? This is bad. You let a chick who lied on a black man, you let her cook you like this. Come on, brother. This is bad. Wallow J, leave them alone. They don't want to be taught. We're not going to teach them. Leave them alone. Chris is missing brain cells. It's okay.
Let's land this plane quickly. You're not a Democrat.
Okay,
And
you
so,
ABL.
let me tell you something now. I don't know
Who's
what they
we?
told you, but if they told you that cutting me off is how I'm going to get clicks, stop it now.
Play that again. Play it again.
Let's land this plane quickly.
Who do
You're
we vote
talking
for?
to a radical, not a Democrat.
Okay,
And
you
so,
are your own person.
let me
but who
tell you
do we
something
vote
now.
for?
I don't know what they told you, but if they told you that cutting me off is how I'm going to get clicks, stop it now.
Oh,
'Cause
no,
that's-
no, no, no.
God damn. ABL. How did you allow this? You let Dion from My Brother and Me give you this word? And you know that girl can't stop talking. She been telling you that since 1993. I mean, 94. She told you since 1994 she can't stop talking. She always has questions. Everybody had to walk out the room. Oh my God. And you let her cook you like this. SD Johnson, what's your hometown? I thought ABL was from Virginia. What's this? U.S. Department of Labor. What did they do? Availability of $30 million in grants to train American workers for jobs in high demand emerging industries. Well, that's what's up. Go get your coins, people. Go get your coins.
That's not how we're gonna. That's not how we're gonna interview.
We having a debate.
A debate
That's
doesn't
not-
require continuously cutting somebody off.
Okay, no problem.
Now, I do want to state this. You're stating things as it relates to how money is not fixing a problem without acknowledging the fact that the problem doesn't exist in a vacuum. And that there are so many other factors that are determining how that money
Somebody
is
else put up the
spent
flag.
to impede it from actually fixing a problem. You can put all the money into Baltimore public schools you want, but if you are also putting all this money into policing, into communities that are not getting resources, then you are also creating your own conundrum. The other part of this is that when you're
The U.S. government likes Spider-Man. They love to create their own enemies, but it's okay.
saying they, you know, the they is a broad context. And the last part of this that I will say is that you keep saying they're dangling this in our face, they're dangling this in our face. Slavery lasted for 400 years. It hasn't even been 400 years since slavery. So should we be only fighting for a quarter of the time to get repair?
All right, I'm sorry. You've been voted.
So they voted him off now. He has to go sit back on the Coon Island and wait his turn again. But how you let her cook you like this? Now, I know he going to do the video or the live stream and try to say that she ain't know what she was talking about. Great, Chris. And guess what? You won't receive freedom ever again. You won't understand what true freedom is. Because like you and the rest of your buddies that think like you guys are cowards. You don't want to go fight. You can talk about how Black Americans ain't going to get reparations. You ain't going to get a day where you can go 24 hours and feel really free. You can just go be free and a white troll. You'll never feel that again because y'all are cowards.
Now by the majority.
All right.
Please return to your seat.
Okay.
Okay, so now they brought up this dude. I'm finna show it to you real quick. Okay, great. Fine, I'll fight. And you see what this government is doing to your veterans, and you see what regular people are doing to veterans. But yeah, worry about me. You just proved my point. You're a coward.
Matt Nuclear.
Hello,
I
Matt.
appreciate-
Matt Nuclear?
Matt Nuclear, yes.
Matt Nuclear, give me a better handshake on that. Let's do it.
I
All right.
appreciate having this conversation with a beautiful black woman like yourself. This is a nice, beautiful arena here.
Here we go. Now, the streets are saying this kid is Angolan.
I disagree that reparations are necessary. I think the most important thing that's necessary right now for the black community.
Correct. We're killing each other in record numbers, and you white folks are killing each other in record numbers, including your little newborns. Y'all get into positions of power and take your daughters on vacations to Vegas, get them roofied, and then grape them. And if you don't believe me, that's a real story. Worry about your community before you worry about the black community. I know we got it popping over here, positively and negatively. It's okay. Y'all can get it popping over there. I know Eminem ain't come out with good music that y'all can go slut your girls out and go give yourselves hand jobs to each other. Pause. But it's okay. Maybe that'll come back around. It's okay. Now let's hear what the Angolan said.
The stopping of violence, especially black on black violence. I don't see how reparations is going to solve anything. You can give
black on black violence. Okay. Black on black violence. Intraracial violence. Okay.
everyone here like a $50,000 check, especially people that are in the streets who are committing violent crimes consistently. A $50,000 check, it's not going to fix anything.
I love how he determined how much money y'all should get. 50,000. Well, sir, let's debunk what you just said. A $50,000 check ain't gonna do nothing. I seem to remember a few months ago, y'all gave a racist white woman, who happened to be Ukrainian, by the way, y'all gave her over $500,000, and y'all haven't heard word one from her since. Imagine. I'm sure she's probably got a business somewhere in Texas, because that's where she said she was going. Y'all gave Daniel Penny. How much did they give Daniel Penny? It was a good amount. I saw somebody put up a tweet yesterday saying, I'm glad he didn't become a right-wing grifter. He did that photo shoot and that fashion show wearing that kilt. He got killed for it, disappeared with the girl. Y'all gave Rottenhouse how much money? Over $1 million. And then y'all ran him off the block. Damn, they gave him $3 million? Look at that. Y'all made him a millionaire and he disappeared. He don't even want to be a cop no more. He's probably writing the book right now. Nah, DeSantis didn't give him $1 million. DeSantis gave him 10 grand and Vivek gave him 10 grand. Now, I don't think he broke. I'm sure he got a little something, but still, he disappeared out the limelight.
It's not going to increase the median household income in the next 10 years by 10% or 20%. For example,
how do you know that? You don't even know that.
we have the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. We prevented Chinese people from getting citizenship and even entering the country. We discriminated against them and basically put them under apartheid, even here in the United States. Yet they have the highest median household income. How is that possible?
Because they gassed y'all. We've already proven this, by the way. But since we got to prove this again, I guess he's never heard of the term "gi," which basically means a Chinese immigrant or an Asian immigrant can get a personal loan from somebody in the community they're moving to start their business, and they have to pay it back. Some people say that's extortion. Fine. What he fails to also realize is most Chinese immigrants that come here are very poor. Dirt poor. I know they like to tell you that story about $1.75 and all that. What they also don't tell you is they go to the government and get set-asides. They're taking down to the office the first day they land, sign up for welfare. They don't tell you that. They put them in these businesses in their neighborhoods and they siphon off that money. I know I ain't supposed to say this, but it's history. It's been documented. Or on the flip side of it, most of them come over here with already a degree, already with a position. As in the case with that David Jajang over there in New York. They try to say, oh, his parents came here. They ain't had no money in their pocket. We go do a deep dive, find out that his parents both have degrees, that both graduated from Georgetown. And so did his sister. He ends up going to Duke. But yeah. Like Stanley Zong out there in the Bay Area. His father was an engineer in China, got a job with Google, came over here, and now his son got a job with Google at 18, 19, making over 6 figures. But yeah. Let's just chalk it all up to hard work. Okay. All right.
How come they don't complain and feel entitled consistently to beg for reparations and beg?
They actually are begging for reparations right now. Oops. See, now I know these black conservatives don't read or research. There's actually articles right now in the Bay Area of Chinese Americans thinking about how to structure a resolution to go get reparations. But remember, the reparations argument is BS. Somebody can go fact check me on that too.
For this, when they are killing each other 90% of the time.
Killing each other 90% of the
Black people
time.
kill each other, according to the FBI.
Oh, young man.
Yet white people are the oppressors.
I'm not.
Who's running the system, sir? Damn, I tell you, black conservatives think white supremacy don't exist. Okay.
Where your education came from, but they lied to you.
Stats don't lie, though.
Statistics.
Ooh, keep a pin in that too. He said stats don't lie. Okay.
All the time. So let's start there. Particularly when the statistics are coming from the sources that gain from the statistics being shown a different way. So if you're gonna start your argument on stats don't lie, you've already lost the argument. They lie. They lie all the time. One, comparing Chinese people who are immigrants that made a choice to come to the United States and comparing the continued effort of black people to ground themselves in a nation that continues to make impediments for them to show and live and exist in their true citizenship is a false equivalency.
I don't believe that happens at all.
You heard what this nigga just said? He just came for immigrants. In the fact that it's okay for them to have grievances as immigrants, but if you're a black American and you were born here and you have legit grievances, nobody should hear you. That's basically what he's saying. That's crazy. But again, he's Angolan.
And comparing the continued effort of black people to ground themselves in a nation that continues to make impediments for them to show and live and exist in their true citizenship is a false equivalency.
I don't believe that happens at all. No one here is in.
Are you acting right now? Do you know?
There's no systemic racism that I've experienced here in America.
This nigga said. He said it. He. This must be Larry Elder's son. He said there's no systemic racism. Now, granted, okay, he looked like he in his early 20s. Negro, when you were in middle school, Donald Trump literally ran on a platform to get Mexicans out of this country because he said they were rapists and criminals and they weren't sending the best and brightest. You literally saw that. You literally saw him come back around the second time and deport an ethnic group that literally voted for him and turned Miami red. And we're talking about the Cubans. You literally watched him follow along with a trope that Haitians eat cats and dogs. And he said that during a debate, trying to win the presidency. He just last week put up a fake graph saying that DC is one of the most dangerous cities in the world and compared it to third world countries. Then we see videos come out and maybe 2 white people got arrested in those videos. The arrest and subsequently put on the White House Twitter page and their website of nothing but black faces. But you're going to tell us that there's no systemic racism in this country. There's no systemic racism. You're literally watching Angel Reese go through it. They're literally now, fam, it's gotten so bad with that girl. They're putting up fake quotes that they think she said just so they could get clicks. When Kennedy Carter hip checked Caitlin Clark last year, you had a sitting member of a state legislature wanting to throw out a resolution and have a bill crafted to protect her and to get an investigation into a private company called the WNBA. William McNeil couldn't get criminal justice against the cop that punched him in the face. Walter Scott passed away and barely anything happened to them police. Ma'Khia Bryant's killer got to go back to work. But there's no systemic racism because you're around white people. Ah, I got it. You think they accept you.
What system is racist? I think the only racism we've actually seen recently, systemic racism that we've seen, is the application of systemic racism against white people. The University of Western...
You hear him? You hear him? He listens to Nick Fuentes. I can tell. He says systemic racism against white people. He listens to Charlie Kirk. The same Charlie Kirk who says he hopes black pilots are qualified. But that's not systemic racism. The lawsuits against these banks for putting black homes under lower appraisers than white homes, that's not systemic racism. The law is not systemically racist against black people. Media is not systemically racist. Y'all love talking about hip hop and how degenerate it is. Y'all watch Beyonce go into country music and make a splash. You got motherfuckers actually caring about country music. And they had to, I know he's not going to say this wasn't racism. They split off the country music category. They split it. Because she was dominant. But you're right, there's no systemic racism in this country. Oh, okay, dude. These young coons.
Washington, for example, has been trying to segregate dormitories using black-only dormitories because black people feel safer amongst each other. But they're more...
Yeah, it's called HBCUs too, sir. Are they racist?
Truth.
White people go to HBCUs.
Black men. Why should I think that the white man is the oppressor when black men are more likely to kill me?
So oppression is now deletion by a black man. Oh, Lord. Who is teaching them?
My God, this is scary. You need to think about me as your mama. Do not talk to me in that fashion. So that now. Okay? So, on a basic level, we have to understand that systemic racism is grounded in the realities that black people have not been considered an equal human being in this country since its onset. So there's simply no way to make the argument that there isn't systemic racism, and we have seen in very clear ways the system operate in an organically racist way. Do not cut me off. When we talk about systemic racism, we can start with even the fact that redlining, which was implemented to discriminate black communities. Are you shaking your head that redlining doesn't exist?
No, I'm saying I don't think it really existed at all.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He said redlining doesn't exist. Oh my God. You know what? They said he Angolan. I hope to God he was not adopted. I hope to God. I can't believe he just said that redlining does not exist. Oh, God.
exists doesn't make it no longer exist. Redlining absolutely exists. It is not something that's being made up. It's an empirical fact, and there are realities that exist because of redlining. We know that school systems.
They got some nigga in there looking like a coon version of Steph Curry. This is crazy.
If a school system is not getting the same property value as the property taxes allow it, then it's not going to have the same efficacy at allowing for students to be able to get what they deserve. When we talk about systemic racism, we have to acknowledge that these private
They all
prisons
put their
are
flag up on this boy.
based on the test scores of school students in 3rd grade. So if you are literally building prisons with the onset of, okay, if these people are not reaching a certain reading level, then we know that they're going to go down a prison industrial pipeline where we can use their free labor. Then how is that not systemic? And if you want to
Stop them from entering prisons.
how are you going to stop people? If your goal is to get them into prison.
Sure, make them try to be more like Ben Carson than be like King Von. That's fair.
Nigga. We know Ben Carson's a coon. But here you go, young Negro. I actually read his book, Gifted Hands. Read it 4 times. It's a very good book. That man was in abject poverty. And she's actually advocating to fix the system that literally put his mama and his brother and him in that system. Did you know that Negro almost went to jail? Yeah. By the gift of God, the Most High, he got an opportunity to learn medical knowledge and become a world-class surgeon. And you fixed your mouth just now to say what you just said. Huh. Right. He pulled a knife on somebody. Matter of fact, I think he did go to jail for a little bit. And I think that's where he had to turn around. I have to reread it again. It's been years since I read it. Yes, Ben Carson was on welfare. Him and his mama were on Section 8. And his brother. Living in the slums of D.C. The same city that you heard Benny Johnson say they got a bulldoze. All right.
Very simple.
So how does King Von happen? How does King Von happen?
King Von
Reparations. Actually, no, let me land the plane. We're talking about reparations, and what you're doing is actually just trying to get this conversation off the facts. And the fact is, reparations are.
Ben Carson was on welfare, sir.
On a basic level, Black people built this country, and the country continues to thrive off of the labor that Black people put into this country. And it would behoove you, young man, to really understand the way that your ancestors put blood, sweat, and tears into this nation. His
ancestors were over there in Angola, but I understand what she was trying to say. His rebrand is going to be crazy in about 3 years. He going to be pro-Black wearing a kufi. You watch what I tell you.
Still living off of those blood, sweat, and tears. And let me also add, there are reparations and then there is remunerations. Do you know the difference?
Yes, but can I finish one
No,
point? I wanted to say Ben Carson's cousins were killed at a very young.
I'm so sorry. You voted out.
Why are you bringing up Ben Carson's cousins? Now they're trying to rewrite Black conservative history. It's a sight to see.
I hope some of y'all are acting. We in LA.
Oh my God, no! I'm gonna make that a drop. I hope some of y'all are acting.
I'm so sorry.
That's great. Fam, everybody in the room damn near got their flag up. That's crazy. He said, get the hell on.
Now, with majority, please return to your seat.
I hope some of y'all are acting. I really do.
Yo, she's 2-0. This is hilarious.
We in LA, and I hope some people in here are acting.
Well, most of these Black conservatives trying to go to Hollywood when Trump leaves, so maybe they are. Oh, this dude. Now, he claimed he a preacher. I'm finna show you too. This dude right here. He say he a preacher. After this exchange, we're gonna show you his response video. And you tell me if that is becoming of a preacher.
Oh, what's that on your chain?
This is a coin from Israel.
A quote from Israel. Here it is. Israel. This should be fun.
You got
That's a choice that you are making for yourself.
yes. The thing with the whole reparations thing, and I don't know, we're probably close to the same age, so maybe you can't call me.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
I'm 44.
Oh, really? Oh, you look young.
Thank you.
Why do y'all keep coming in here trying to flatter her, thinking you're gonna get her off her square? Just let's get to the show. Nigga, she's 44 and you 32. And never mind.
Making for yourself.
Yes. The thing with the whole
Now, he say he 32. I think the nigga 45, but you know, that's just me.
reparations thing, and I don't know, we're probably close.
Now,
to
Nene, you knew they were gonna let that white man out. Come on, he shot a black man. That's a free pass. They probably gave him a pat on the back when he posted bail. Come on now. But again, the Angolans said there ain't no systemic racism. They let the white boy out. Carmelo Anthony had to get money from the public to get out. He had to get a rapper to bail him out. Come on now. Y'all black conservatives don't want to think like that though.
You can't call me.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
I'm 44.
Oh, really? Oh, you look young.
Thank you. That's what water and keeping stress out of your life will do.
Really?
Girls, don't do that, because last year you was going in on Issa Rae. Don't do that. Maybe she changed in 2025. Maybe she did.
Liberal positions are real stressful.
By the way, I would.
Liberal. Here we go. Liberal.
No, I'm not.
Well, Brandy, we'll find out next June when the trial starts.
Carry on.
Well, it's a liberal position because conservatives believe in hard work. We believe in.
That's actually a lie, but continue.
In going to work and working for what you got.
Yeah.
That's actually a lie too. This is what I mean when I say a lot of these liberals went over to the conservative side and don't even know what conservatism means. One of the first tenets of conservatism is community. And I'm not even conservative, and I know that. They emphasize building community. An exchange of ideas to better the country. Y'all motherfuckers coming out here for self. Y'all are building pyramid schemes. I said it. Your ABLs, your Brandon Tatums, your black conservative perspectives, Amir Odoms. Y'all are building pyramid schemes. Candace Owens, Amala Ekpanobi. Y'all are building pyramid schemes. And it's okay. I'd rather you be honest about it. They're trying to conserve white power, Nene. But that's not true conservatism. What they're doing is social media conservatism.
Not asking for handouts
Right.
from people who never had slaves. Some of the people that you're asking for money from never had slaves. And
When did the U.S. government not have slaves? Never mind.
let's talk about the fact there were also black people that had slaves. So if you want to talk about that, how is that
Okay.
fair? If I'm a white person, then am I?
Nigga. And then Jubilee's put this up. There were approximately 3,700 free black people who owned 12,000 slaves. I guess they didn't want to tell the fact that they bought their people out of slavery, but, you know, that was the majority, but they don't want to bring that up. Because, again, that would give black people agency and it would bolster the case. But, you know, that's Jubilee for you. And remember, the end goal, it said there ain't no systemic racism, yet Jubilee's a white platform. But we'll leave it alone. We'll leave it alone.
Family fall on the side of the Union. Why should I have to pay for slaves when this whole country was never all racist? Some of the founding fathers were abolitionists, and they hated slavery, and they actually put things in the Declaration of Independence and things too because they believed that there'll be a future.
Did this nigga just say the founding fathers put something in the Constitution? The same founding fathers who signed that document on July 4th, 1776, but still watched slavery go on, didn't say a word. Waited damn near 90 years to go do something about it. Okay. Put something in a document that's supposed to create this nation and give us a set of ideals. You wait 90 years to free people that you have tilling the fields and building industries. You waited 90 years to let them go have their own lives. But they built something in there for that. Oh, my Lord.
There would be a black president one day, or that there would be people in leadership that were black. There was people in the North.
Where in the Constitution did it say that one day they put a provision in there, one day there's gonna be a black president? Okay.
Who helped with the Underground Railroad and fought with.
This man said the Constitution was written to establish the Underground Railroad. He just talking. I'm gonna let him talk.
The Union. So why is that fair for people who never had slaves, who fought against slavery, to have to pay for people that had slaves?
One, from my understanding, you are more interested in preserving the fairness of those who didn't have slaves than the fairness of those who are the descendants of slaves. That is priority to you than finding a fair way to accommodate those who have been the descendant of slaves.
Well, our ancestors wasn't asking for handouts. They were asking.
First ethnic, what I meant was, we talking about the founding fathers. The 20th came way later. They making it seem like the founding fathers foresaw Barack Obama or John Henson or John Hanson. I don't even know where he got that from, but sure. I ain't mad at you. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to rack my brain how they got to that point. But go ahead.
They were asking for equal opportunity, and we have equal opportunity in this country.
No, we don't, Negro. No, we don't. They still think this. That's crazy. They still think we have equal opportunities in this country. Sir, if that was the case, then every black YouTuber would be getting white YouTuber numbers and money. And we know that's not the case. Come on now. We're not going to do that. And notice, I said YouTuber. One of the biggest ones we had was Marcus Brownlee. And he's probably like one of the only ones that has like over 10 million as a black YouTuber. Just dumb.
Just in case you didn't know, we had a black president and we had a
he was mixed.
Vice president. I mean, I think she was black. They said
you think she was black? Nobody knows what she is. So that they're not black.
Black. I don't know. So we had a black president, and you know who voted for that black man? White people.
Okay. They were pissed off at Bush. It's like they don't know history. They were pissed off at Bush. They were pissed off at the Republicans. And what happened in 2012? The white voting bloc went to the other side. And Corey Kenshin, thank you. Corey Kenshin. I forgot about him. But yeah, go ahead. Well, I show more does it on Kick and Twitch. And his people from Africa anyway. He already admitted it.
Because you can't win a popular election in this country without white people. So Barack
Huh?
Obama is the product of white people. So let's get
You just called him black, but say he's a product of white people.
What's making America so racist is people that continue to talk about racism and continue to focus on racism.
But your man over there just said that there's racism against white people. Charlie Kirk literally sat outside and said there's systemic racism against white people. I bet y'all won't say nothing about that. And y'all claim he a conservative, even though he started out as a liberal. But you know, it's okay. Money is money will make you change your morals and your identity, I guess.
Instead of focusing on unity and bringing our country forward, people that have this liberal mindset are infecting our communities, black people, and making us victims and not victors.
We're bringing that back. Be a victor, not a victim. Damn. They bring about all the tropes.
I refuse to embrace a victim mentality because that's not what our grandparents and Harriet Tubman and those.
But you just sat here and blame liberals for all our problems.
People fought for. They fought for.
Do not bring up Harriet Tubman's name in vain, baby. Please. Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman was literally saving her family and others from slavery.
Yeah. You know who helped her? White people.
You know who helped her?
They were on the Underground Railroad.
No. You know who helped her?
Come on in.
No, you know who helped her?
God and
People who
So now he's just gonna troll. See what I mean? Okay.
benefit from white supremacy. One of the things
It's a lie. White supremacy is a lie.
No, sir,
It's
that's
a
simply
lie.
not
White
true.
supremacy is a lie. You hear
If
him?
that were the case, then we wouldn't see the continued effort of colonialism and white people.
If white supremacy wasn't a thing, why are y'all talking? Hey, black conservatives, why don't you answer that question? If white supremacy didn't exist, you guys would be irrelevant. What would you be talking about if everybody was equal? White racism would never dare come out of your mouth. By the way, since y'all want to talk about white racism so much, how come y'all ain't putting up success stories of them South Africans that came over here? It's been, what, 3 months? I'm sure they accomplished something. And I noticed Fox News and the right-wing media didn't bring not one of them on to go talk about, you know, how much of a success after 90 days they've been here. Not one. I find that strange.
Placing themselves in positions of power
You
when
know
they do
why
not
they're in
have the
position of
power.
power? Because
Let me
their
hear this.
culture, black culture is toxic.
And there it is.
Black culture is toxic. We have produced a culture.
Look at her face when he said that. Look at her face. That's crazy. That fool said black culture is toxic. Sir, that includes you, you dumbass. You're not white. They don't even get it. They're owning themselves. What if I told you about the American racists? They will say something and within 10 seconds own themselves. Black culture is toxic. Uh-huh. Yet when you got this opportunity to talk to a black person, if it's so toxic, you should have said, I decline. Are we gonna get their soapbox? We gonna get there. Wait, which cross-eyed one?
Sure, that is toxic. And let's get on the fact that there's no fathers
So
in
white
the black
culture-
home. Let's get.
This nigga said there's no black fathers in the home. For black conservatives who love to talk about stats, the stat is out there that it's actually about 40%. That's not even a majority. The most evolved fathers in the country, but y'all still stuck on that 75%. That's crazy. Hey, black conservatives, y'all looking like island people right now. I need y'all to fast forward 20 years. If y'all got to call up Grant Gustin, Flash, I need y'all to, Daniel West, he was the Black Flash. I need y'all to come into the new millennium. Y'all about 20 years behind. Come on now.
Let's talk about that.
None of this is gonna work if y'all are just gonna sit here and make up shit. It's not gonna work. No, it's a beat. It has to be in facts.
You're putting off emotional liberalism.
I am not putting off emotional liberalism. You're putting off unfounded lies based in conservatism.
Remember they get the misinformation thing all summer where everything conservative did. They said
carrying a chain around your neck of an apartheid nation that actively wants to harm black people and non-Jewish people. But let me bring it back. Let me bring it back. That was not happening in the context that you're saying.
And they were selling their own people. Black people still selling.
Wonderful. They were selling their own people. Right. But you want to big up white people who bought the people. Oh. So the seller is bad, the buyer is not. Okay. I got a hot stereo. You buy it, but y'all just going to blame me. You're not going to blame the asshole who didn't ask no questions. Okay. Got it.
Their own people today, too.
I don't know if I'm going to last.
We're selling.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm going to last.
Fam, we only 16 minutes in.
I won't because your ignorance is so overwhelming.
That's liberal. That's our name calling.
No, it's not.
She didn't name call you not one time.
Because you keep cutting me off.
Well, that's fine. If they don't let me come back, I made my point.
You didn't make your
I made
point.
my point.
You haven't
And
made
I'm
your
okay
point.
with being
And let me
torn
just
down.
tell you about your point. You started off saying, we believe in hard work.
Yeah.
And we believe in being compensated.
Reparations is not though.
Why did you cut her off?
Hard work. It's stealing. It's Robin Hood.
You said you believe in hard work.
Yes.
And you believe in being compensated for hard work.
Yes.
Were slaves compensated for their work?
They weren't compensated for their work. But why should people who are sitting at home playing video games, smoking marijuana?
You hear all the stereotypes this Negro's putting out there?
Sitting at home playing a video game? Are you sitting at home playing a video game? Am I sitting at home playing a video game? No. And I don't know who these people are that you're talking about because the majority of the black community is not sitting at home.
I mean, that's fine, Jeremy. So we're better than you, right? Because white people are animals. It's okay.
Home playing video games.
We appreciate the compliment.
Where are you getting that statistic?
Pause. You've been voted out.
Y'all are underneath animals, so it's okay. We're the reason why the animal kingdom ain't fucking with you. Because if we get out the way, they gonna take y'all over. The lions, tigers, and bears will be in your nice enclaves. Yogi will be leaving the fridge open, eating all the honey and the picnic baskets. And black people just gonna walk by and be like, yo, look at that bear. That's my nigga. What's up, Mr. Bear? And he's just gonna roar. And if you go around every Thursday, he give you a free salmon. I'm just saying. Remember, black people are so great. Black people, melanated immigrants that are on code have survived so much BS in this world. When the Most High calls everybody home, and we got to rebuild. It's just going to be us and the cockroaches. And you already know our deal with us and the cockroaches. Everybody get your slippers ready. By the way, so that was just the first claim, and that was about an hour. That's crazy. But I want to show y'all his response. The response was crazy. Hold on, I forgot I was recording something. All right, listen to this.
Truth is, in my Amanda Seal debate, she was the worst Jubilee surprise guest probably that they had. She was the stereotypical black woman. She was angry. She was nasty.
How was she nasty?
To have people removed off. There was one black conservative who's known who was removed because she yelled at people several times. She threatened about 5 or 6 times. She was a diva.
That's her name, Amanda Diva. You just figured this out, but you see his name, right? The Black MAGA preacher. Nigga, you a whole troll. He just changed this. A Black MAGA pastor influencer. God is going to get this man. How the hell you going to call yourself a pastor and an influencer? A pastor is not supposed to be an influencer. You've got to be kidding me. They let to get themselves titles. It's hilarious. Has been featured on Dr. Phil, Jubilee, and Fox. And you still here.
6 or 7 times she threatened to leave. Now, I'm thankful for the opportunity. Thankful for getting to sit down with her. I respect her for what she's accomplished. But as a person, I have no respect for her. She was very disrespectful to me.
Nigga, you were talking all over her. The hell are you talking about? Nigga, you talked for you talked for like 2.5 minutes straight.
Because I believe I destroyed her in my first, to start off. And she didn't want to talk to me again. And I wouldn't want to talk to me because she can't beat me in a debate. A real debate where she's not yelling, she could not beat me because the facts are on my side. I don't care how much
Nigga, you got cooked.
And try to act like they aren't. I love black people. I love myself.
No, you don't.
If you're black and you have a difference in opinion in the black community, you don't love yourself, and because we're the only race that can't have. But that's the truth. She was the worst Jubilee guest celebrity person.
This nigga sound like somebody on a payroll. Oh, we gonna get there. Don't worry. She's next. All right, we go back. Where's her picture?
So I just wanted clarity because I think it'd be helpful. You said radical. I wanted just clarity on that, and then also with the reparations, you said it's not just money; it's other things. I just want to know, what do you see as the grand picture of what would help?
The grand picture of what would help?
Of reparations, what does that look like to you?
Oh, great. What reparations looks like to me is a combination of reparations and remunerations. And reparations are about repair for damages that have been caused based on harm. Remunerations is a monetary response to work that has not been paid for. So if you come and paint my house and I don't pay you, you can take me to court and get remunerations for the work that you have done. So we're actually owed both in this nation.
Now, I know y'all gonna get mad at her. I understand, because she said we. I understand. It's okay.
There are incredibly just clear-cut records that show the buying and selling and purchasing of slaves, the work that was done, also the intellectual property that was stolen from slaves, right? Because there was so much inventing that was happening, and there is also quite a bit of other reparations that are being...
Now, that's a very good point she brought up. A lot of the slaves came up with inventions and never got access to the patent office. Or their designs were just straight up taken. So that's a very good point.
Discuss as it relates to property being stolen, as it relates to, again, redlining and the inability for Black people to get loans, etc. And these impediments being solely based on their race.
As far as like discrimination.
Yes, like they're being solely based on their race and not being about anything other than you're Black, so you can't, right? And so when it's very clear cut like that, there are very distinctive responses to that can be done through a cash payment, as well as through measures that are being done to create funds for creating resources and responses like housing, like access to food, access to...
You could just do that with the cash. You don't even need to do all that. That's crazy. It's funny that we had to go through like 3 people to get to somebody sensible. All right, we're going to go to the next one. Now, they're about to bring up the Steph Curry looking...
My next claim is that Black on Black crime is a result of underinvestment and over-policing.
That's what I mean.
You said that Black on Black crime is due to underfunding and over-policing, essentially. I actually don't necessarily disagree with one of those. I think that... He looked
like a Somalian Steph Curry. I ain't even gonna hold you. This Negro got on a presidential pin. So Trump White House came over and told him to go to LA and fuck with Amanda Diva. All right, let's get it.
Who do you think should be responsible for the funding piece of the Black community? Should that...
Before you even answer that question, Amanda Diva, you should ask how this nigga 3-point shooting percentage look. What that look like? If he not shooting near 40%, he can't talk to you. And can he shoot it off the back foot? First off, Anthony, you're going to get put in timeout. You're not about to disrespect John Starks.
Be something that the government should step into, or should it be something that we as Black people need to handle ourselves? Dr. Jordan Peterson
and here we go. Here we go. You're going to bring up Jordan Peterson? I tell you, what did I tell y'all the other day about these conservatives when they bring out Jordan Peterson? They saw a couple of his lectures and thought he was based. And then he get to talking more and you realize he's stone batshit crazy. They don't even talk about him no more. That lasted all of 5 years. That's crazy.
Soul and several others have stated one thing, that poverty and crime, there's a positive correlation. There's also a positive correlation in the Black community of absentee fatherism being one of the root causes.
You're bringing this again.
Black males that grew up without a father are 10 times more likely to engage in criminal activity. And so I think one of the...
Can I put a pin right there and ask you a question?
Ask me whatever you like.
What is the root cause of there being less fathers present?
Bad decision making on the part of the fathers.
This nigga said it. Bad decision making on the part of the fathers. Okay. All right. So the LBJ, that had nothing to do with it. Okay. That the creation of the welfare state that we know today, that had nothing to do with it. The fact Black fathers went to fight for this country and were not given the same set asides they gave everybody else, so they couldn't build. That right. Okay. The war on drugs that disproportionately went after Black people. Yeah. The 1994 crime bill. Yeah. That had nothing to do with it. The war on Black teenagers in the 2000s. That had nothing to do with it. The media had nothing to do with it. Okay. Bad decisions by Black fathers. Yet y'all are the same ones that admit, before all that bullshit I just said, Black fathers were in the home higher than white people. But yeah. Just out of the blue, 1 year, Black fathers en masse just started making bad decisions. Okay. All right.
In a patriarchal system, like it or not, men have dominated the socioeconomic, economic, and political power of this country and the world since our existence. So our bad decision-making, especially when we focus on the Black community, is the root cause of fatherlessness.
What type of decisions?
Not marrying the women we decide to lay down and have children with.
This nigga, what? So we're doing this again. So the government didn't tell these women you can do better without the man in the home, which y'all have admitted that that happened. Why calling me when I'm on live? Hold on. You heard what that ninja said? That ninja said, I don't know if y'all can. Let me know if you can hear me. Put a one in the chat.
Not being careful with the seeds that we plant in women. No woman can get pregnant without a man planting his seed inside of her. So therefore,
So it's marriage.
That's actually not true. They did. You could do it without that, but okay, go ahead.
well, that's a part of it. That's marriage is a part of it.
Okay.
But the true piece that I'm looking at is connectedness between familial units. The black community was at its economically strongest while being at its poorest during the segregation era. Prior to 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King in his last speech said that we have an annual income of more than $30 billion a year, which is
Why? Sir, you could have just said that regular. Everybody, oh Lord. I think she might be on to something. I think there's a number of actors up in here. Sir, he also said we're coming to Washington, we're coming to get our check. But y'all never want to bring that quote up, but I see why.
more than all of the exports of Canada and more than all of the exports of the United.
Okay, so Martin Luther King here is really trying to invoke the good doctor. What are we doing? Steph Cooney, this is not it. You could have just used your regular voice, sir. Jesus.
States and more than the national budget of Canada. That was when we were economically at our poorest. Yet 85% of our black children were growing up with a father in the home. There was less black on black crime. There was less disenfranchised.
Why was there less black on black crime?
Because we needed to live together. We had to stick by each other.
What
Uh-huh.
was there also less of?
I'm not sure where you're leading. That's a leading question. I don't like those.
You don't like this?
I don't like leading.
Wait a minute. Sir, if you're going to pump out all these stats, you can't get pissed off at a leading question. She's trying to get you somewhere to realize that what you're saying, yes, it's true, but there's also other factors that you have to input that is going to counter what you said. So you can get a clearer picture of why we're in the situations we're in. You can't look at it as just one side. When it benefits you or it goes against you, you have to look at both sides.
Questions? No. I like direct stuff.
So essentially, when we were living in our own communities, we were also policing our own communities. So we were not being used as statistics in the same way to determine how resources were provided to our own communities. When we were going to the government saying, hey, we deserve because we are supposed to be separate but equal, we weren't saying, hey, we want to be with y'all. We were essentially saying, we want what you are stating we deserve. And that is what all of the efforts of the civil rights movement has been. It's literally just been to say, you said when we got out of the Civil War that we would be considered citizens, and all citizens should be getting equal access to these things. However, you are actively allowing the Klan to harm us. You are actively allowing...
Who's killed more black people, the Klan or us?
Oh my God. Per capita, the Klan. Since y'all like per capita games so much. It was the Klan.
I'd like to continue my statement. I let you speak uninterrupted. When we talk about this concept of who is harming us, we are really making a false claim when it comes to black on black crime, as if there isn't white on white crime. There's also this unnecessary effort to try and pathologize black on black crime in a way that you don't try to pathologize white on white crime. There are white people killing each other every single day. Now, they may be on jet skis in the pictures after they shoot up their whole family.
Talk.
But nonetheless,
Talk. Even she had to take a chuckle at that. She ain't tell no lies. Susan Smith killed her whole family. Got a news crew to come there and watch her cry crocodile tears. Come on now. The dude out of Colorado that killed his wife and 4 daughters. Or 3 daughters. He got a whole national campaign. That's crazy.
there are white people killing each other every single day. Now, much of the reason why you may see more numbers in terms of black on black crime are for 2 reasons. One, the statistics be lying all the time. We have seen
What
this.
numbers? Okay,
we have seen this in a real way. So in New Jersey. In New Jersey.
What numbers can be trusted? Because with the previous speaker,
I'm about to tell you right now.
Okay, so your sources.
You can't such number. No, I'm literally about to give you an example of numbers not being able to be trusted.
Okay, talk to me.
That's what I was doing. Okay, then listen. So listen. In New Jersey, they had a statistic that was created by the police department that said, look at how many black people are committing crimes. Look at how crazy this number is. These black people are so exorbitantly violent. Look at this. And then people went and actually matched the names that they were booking with the faces of the actual people incarcerated. And it was proven that they were lying.
So that's one. So that's one instance.
That's
Hold on,
one
no, you're talking to somebody that works as a police dispatcher when I'm not making content. So here's the thing.
I
So
see.
no. You see what the truth is. You're about to see the truth. If you just give me a second, like Trump said, just give me a second. I'm gonna do the weave, but give me a minute.
Well, here's
So
what
when
you all keep doing. You
just
keep interrupting me when I'm talking, and you don't want to hear the
But
point
the
that I'm
point
going to make.
the point that
And
you're
yet you want me to respect your point. And that's not how a debate works. So if you want me to keep getting louder, I will do it. But ultimately, if I show you respect, give me the respect back. I let you talk. I let you make your points. I'm countering your points.
That goddamn grenade that came out of her, you heard it. Woo! Hey, the steel drums came out of her, boy. That conch, she just ate some good conch, and she said, yo, you're not go ahead and come after me there, bye. Woo! Look at her face. That's diva mode right there, boy. That's crazy. Look, Martin Luther Coon is right here. He ain't never seen no black woman yell at him like this before. He don't know how to. He about to talk about, I'm a police dispatcher when I'm not making content. Negro, I wouldn't be saying that out loud. I'm just saying. Especially in this day and age, people like to dox people's jobs. I wouldn't do that, but you got it.
And my points are just as valid as yours, even though you got a pocket square and a Church of Christ pin on your chest.
It's not a Church of Christ.
Whatever. It's a cross. Same difference. You got an American flag and you think you know something because you a cop. And ultimately...
No, she didn't. Put her back on the screen, goddamn. Oh my God, no, she did not. My computer restarted. That's crazy. Bruh. No, she did not just say that. You think you know something because you a cop. We gonna cut that one up too. What did she say that about 26 minutes in? Oh, we gonna cut that up. Every time we use that for Tatum. You think you know anything because you a cop.
Points. And my points are just as valid as yours, even though you got a pocket square and a Church of Christ.
How you let her roast you?
It's a cross. Same difference. You got an American flag and you think you know something because you a cop. And ultimately it's A-cab all day over here. So let me make that clear. But
A-cab over here?
My point is...
Bruh, wait a minute. Everybody put up their flag on this man after he was getting roasted. That is crazy. Black conservatives don't even stand with each other. That's hilarious.
Can sit here and blame black people on black people all day long and not acknowledge that we are forced into... You're going to interrupt me again.
I haven't even said a word.
Why are you going? But you did a heavy breathing. You were about to interrupt her.
Y'all just want to be seen.
Y'all just want to be seen. They still ain't let the pregnant chick go up yet.
Hello.
How are you? I'm Jasmine, the pretty good. Say say less outfit. Thank you.
Say less
this
outfit.
Is my thing. I think the premise of your question was black on black crime. So I think I'm coming from a place, and I guess my issue is having had my biological father murdered by a black man, having had my cousin shot in the head by a black man.
Here we go.
Numbers and statistics and what the people are doing, what the white man is doing, and all that. But at the end of the day, I see when my family lives on the south side of Chicago, and I think you and I both can attest to this, and I'm not saying that there are not other factors, but we know that we kill each other at a disproportionate rate than any other race. Now, why we do that, and why 6,000 to 9,000 black men are going to be homicided or killed or whatever by annually by other black men, whereas the likelihood of a black man being killed by a white police officer is less than 150 per year, we know that we kill each other at a higher rate. So I'm not debating that there are not factors at play, but because I've lived the experience as a black woman losing my father to be murdered by a black man, walking down the street no worries, thank you, but walking down the street in inner cities and different things, knowing that it's more likely that my own brother will rob and rape me than a white man or a white officer, we gotta be real.
What's your proximity to white men in the south side of Chicago? Are there even white men around to rob and rape you at the same rate that there are black men?
There are white men around.
At the same rate?
There wasn't a lot of black people in there, but then that doesn't justify the fact
She asked her, she actually she evaded the question. So this tells me two things. One, again, condolences to her family for their losses. But you try to use that as a gotcha, and she just asked you a simple question because she knows there's white people on the south side. They're not near her. There's not that many white people in those neighborhoods. And she knows that. And two, you just told us that you were a white man. You didn't have to say nothing. You didn't have to confirm it. You just told us that you are with a white man.
that we're destroying each other. So even if we get
nothing, we can agree on that.
Okay, because I feel like a lot of
nothing
times
justifies.
Like, well,
I'm not a liberal. I'm not a liberal.
Okay, well, I will say that people that sometimes have your stance that are against conservatives, maybe they have this claim that they're making it up. They're making up the numbers. We know that we do that to each other. So I want to get to the root of the issue. Why are we killing each other? I think the root of the issue is we've lost our values and we've lost our resilience as black people. We sit there and we talk about what the
we lost our resilience. When did we lose our resilience, young lady? When? Because black people are being resilient every day. They don't like it. Wait till you see the video I do about Sydney Sweeney and Beyonce. If that ain't a case of resilience, I don't know what is. Okay.
white man did, and we talk about slavery and everything like that, but we have no self-accountability and say, you know what, at the end of the day, that is my black grandmother, that is my black sister, you are my black sister, and you know that a black man is more likely to rob you or commit some type of crime against you.
I told you she's with a white man. We just gonna blame black men for everything. Yet there's black men out there that are actively patrolling their neighborhoods, trying to make sure the youth do not go and kill each other. They literally just had a program in DC talking about put the guns down, and they were teaching them the laws in their city. So if they get stopped by them police, they know how to interact with them. Y'all had the Detroit 300, and it pissed white people off so much that they were over there policing their own neighborhoods. They said that they had to get rid of the program. Did the same thing in Memphis. We out here trying to affirm our sisters every day. Y'all say we simping. We over here trying to instill in our daughters that you more than your body. We trying to instill in our sons, you more than what they say you are. An entertainer or a sports figure. And we get called toxic for it. We try to breathe life into our spouses every day. Y'all don't want to talk about that unless it's some ratchet shit. Unless the motherfucking black couple is being freaky on film, like that New Orleans couple, y'all don't want to bring that up. But as soon as Cardi B out there with a black man, y'all reposting the shit. Uh-huh. Okay. They out there putting together videos of those idiots from Love Island because she with a white man. All right. I understand.
And that's what we need to get down to the issue of. And like you were talking about earlier, like, hey, well, what's going on? You know, what do you think the answer is to one of the brothers that were speaking? I think it's the breakdown of the family. I think, like he said, because of our poor choices, and what happens is we look at domestic violence, for example. When domestic violence, women or men are even attacked, what is the first thing we say? It's like, you know what? It's not your what? It's not your fault. So that's what we do. We hold on to this narrative that, well, it's not our fault. And the issues in our community are not fault. And the white man needs to give us something. The old white lady down the street is looking at me, and I don't know why she got braids in her hair. And we focus on all these other stupid things that don't matter.
It don't matter. So you should be allowed to be racially profiled, and you can't say nothing. Okay. So you want black people to be disrespected, but because you live in America and you have all these rights, you're supposed to just smile and keep it moving. Okay. All right. By the way, black people were the first ones to not take that jab en masse. They had to use a Jamaican woman to take the first jab. Black people went in front of the black mayor's face and told her, nah, we good. Interesting.
Matter. We don't get to the root of the fact that we're killing each other at a higher rate than any other race. It is self-hatred amongst us. I believe that we can do that. That we, my cousin, my mom's cousin, coming from the church parking lot, and guess who stuck her up and robbed her at gunpoint? A black man.
Again with the black man.
The point is that no, and I'm not trying to be funny. Unless, like you said, we're gonna keep it respectful.
Yeah, but you're monopolizing the whole conversation.
I'm not trying. Okay, I'm gonna let you speak, but let's not get the attitudes and stuff. Because you're my sister, and I respect you. So
I don't have an attitude. I'm being direct to you, but you're literally speaking this, and you're not going to do that with me either.
Okay,
so you're stating your point, and you've been stating your point for quite some time.
So say,
you have a reason for me to respond.
Would you allow me to respond? So that's a better response. Go ahead.
The response that I have for you is that everything you're saying does not exist in a vacuum. I actually agree with you in that, yes, there has been an incredible denigration of black worth and black pride in this nation. I think it's also very important to acknowledge what has contributed to that. And to state that it is only black people that have contributed to that is a false flag. So we have to admit that. So in order to have this conversation around how we got here, you can't say, oh, well, we're caring about the white woman.
Okay, Walter, right. She don't like being a victim. Yes, she still lives in the south side of Chicago. If it's gotten that bad, you lost two because you got here late. She lost two family members, her father and her brother. Why are you still there? If you're trying to play black conservative.
And that doesn't matter, and this thing, all of that attaches. All of that is actually a very big part of the lack of worth of black people.
I'll ask you, do you think we're resilient?
Yes.
What does resilience mean to you? Do you think we have to be perpetual victims, or do you think that black people are resilient?
I think that those are two different conversations. I think that the concept of black people being victims is really trying to not provide accountability to where the root problem for the actual cause is. And if we keep saying that somebody is a victim and that doesn't mean that the other person should have to actually have accountability, then what are we really doing? You can do both. You can be a victim and be resilient.
How do we do both if you stay in the victimhood? That's my question.
But your statement about black people staying in the victim place is also your point of view.
But how do we rise above it?
We continue to rise above it by, one, pouring into our communities with mutual aid, but two, by simultaneously making sure that we are challenging the systems that are in place to impede us. We have so many opportunities where we are trying to do mutual aid, and those things get disrupted by folks who want to have capitalist gain, by folks who want privatization. We used to have all these mom and pop businesses in our communities.
There's over 3 million black millionaires in America right now. You are an intelligent black woman that is successful.
That's irrelevant.
No one's stopping me from doing anything. I'm an intelligent black woman that graduated.
So go do something with your life instead of complaining about black men all day. Why are you bringing up 3 million black millionaires? Okay. There's 370 million plus people in this country. The fuck? But here we go again. You want the black millionaires who we have seen 98% of them don't give a fuck about the black community like that. Unless it's for a photo op, you want them to go do something. We're trying to get not only the 3 million millionaires that are black, we're trying to get to damn near 40 million middle class and upper middle class black folks. That's where we're trying to go. So these kids can see what success looks like. And they can replicate it and keep replicating it for generations. Like them others did. Even though most of the time they stole it. But that's another conversation for another day. Go home to your white man who probably calling you the N-word and you cool with it because he's not a black man. Calling you the B word. That's right, I said it. They would rather a white man call them the N-word than a black man calling them the B word.
Have tried to stop me from doing what I do. We are not all equal in our capabilities. And we are not all equal in our ability to be invested.
And by the way, the B word I was referring to was not bitch. It was bruh.
In by others. We are not all equal in our trauma.
Are we resilient?
We can't
Yes.
because it is a false equivalency.
I believe that every black person has resilience.
We
from
keep
slavery
trying
all the way
to
up.
Obviously not, because you just sat up there for 5 minutes saying how black men were killing and destroying the community. So how do we have resilience? If by what you were saying was true, then the black community would be in a perpetual cycle of inferiority, which it's not. But that's okay. You left because you got with that white man and you looking on the outside. I get it.
We keep trying to cause.
I'm so sorry. You've been voted out.
First, I want to say, I want to kind of get rid of this like right left ordeal. I really want to talk about just like our own personal views and what we've experienced, what we've seen.
That's the problem, sir. You're already bringing it personal. That's the problem. Your personal experience is not for everybody.
And when it comes to your claim about black on black crime, I really do believe, and I think a lot of people here do believe, especially based off of personal experiences and everything, that it is lack of accountability. In the black community, we need to start taking responsibility for our actions and stop pointing our fingers at other people and the white man. Because to be honest,
Why can't both happen at the same time?
Because
Both are caused.
You said, why was that boy from Angola raised in Maine there? Because they need baby coons on there. They want to make sure that the age range is nice and mixed. You have millennials up into Gen Alpha. You got to make sure you have them. They wanted the baby coon out there. They're trying to make more CJ Pearsons. They're trying to make more Amir Odoms. Sassy be damned.
Because you got to clean your own house before
Both
you
are
go
why?
complain. Because if
If
we're
you're
gonna sit
dirtying
here,
my house,
no,
if you
no,
keep
it's
pouring
not.
shit into
No.
my house
If-
and I'm cleaning it, why can't I do both? Why can't I clean my house and bar the windows from you shitting on my house?
Because it begins with responsibility within us. If we're like,
Yes, so she just told you, I'm going to clean my house first, and then I'm going to make sure it doesn't get dirty again. What the fuck? I thought you conservatives were about that. Fix the problem, make sure it doesn't happen again. Y'all said men should not be in women's sports. I agree with you. And y'all should be out there making legislation so it don't happen again. But y'all don't want to because you know you're going to dry up a revenue stream. Y'all, fam, they're out there right now complaining that there's male cheerleaders in the NFL. That's their new gripe. Because they didn't see this in college. Even though most of them are dropouts, but they didn't see this in college. They didn't have a problem with college. The NFL, where they can get paid, now it's a problem. One of them says because they took a spot away from a female, a woman. Guess where that woman also took a spot from? Another woman. I tell you, they dumb.
Okay. Oh, the white person's doing this to me. The white person's not. We're not
But
going
they
to ever
are.
come to the core of the
But
issue.
they
Good,
are.
Walter. Prove
And
it.
it's not
You'd be a
even just
legend.
white person, because now we have seen very many races, people of very many backgrounds that are actively participating in the effort to keep a working class down. Like that's absolutely a fact. It's not just white people. So I don't attend to that. But I will say the reality of there being systems in place is real. Over policing is a real thing. You know what's also been really real is the effort of violence interruption in certain communities, right? So we've
Good,
seen this
go
in Detroit,
prove it.
We've seen this in New York. We've seen this in Baltimore, where there are communities that have said, what we're going to do is we're going to be like a neighborhood watch for our community. So that before the popo even come, before 12 even rolls up in here, we're going to actually put ourselves in between the conflict and calm it down. And that has been incredibly effective. But you know what? It's not funded.
Them Jews in Brooklyn do it. The Arabs in Brooklyn do it. The Jews actually went to NYPD and bought all the scooters and the old RMPs. Stripped it and put their logos on it. Don't nobody say a word.
It's not funded. And you would think that like city councils and mayors and governors would say, shit, you know what? This is going to save us so much money, because why? Taxpayers keep having to pay for the fault of these police officers. And even though we say, well, only certain people, only a certain number of people have died, that doesn't dispel the fact that a large amount, more black people are imprisoned than any other group in this nation. And that is not by accident.
Again, I started with accountability. And it just seemed like the
But I disagree with you.
No,
I mean, I don't
because,
disagree with you.
Because here's the thing. Look at our media. Look at rap.
Told you they were gonna bring up hip hop.
Glorifying violence.
Oh my God, sir! Outside of, I tell you what I told you. What you black conservatives, boy? What are y'all listening to that you just keep hearing violence? Jesus! Every rap song is not violent. I bet you most of these black conservatives never heard of Black Thought. Go listen to Mike Geronimo. Like, damn it. All hip hop is bad? Really? Okay. I didn't know that.
Again, I started with accountability. And it just seemed like the
But I disagree with you. Put it in this context. If who controls the distribution?
Because here's the thing. Look at our media. Look at rap. Look at what we're glorifying.
You're right.
We're glorifying violence.
Who's we? Wait, who's we? Who's we?
The black community.
Who controls the
black community.
Who controls the distribution of these sources of media?
And who takes it in? And who takes it in?
Listen, if you're okay, so let me put it in this context.
You say I didn't want to answer that question? We're not in control of our own media, sir. Every time we do that, they stop it. We got to jump through hoops. They would rather hire somebody in Hollywood that's white to make a story about black people in the hood and just glorify the drugs, the violence, and the degradation. You show a black person, different script, they want to show you the diamond in the rough. You got to jump through hoops. They tell you that it's not something that's going to be feasible for this time frame. They don't know if people are going to get it. And the one time they let it happen, you get sinners. And it broke everybody that's not black and understood what the message was. It broke them. They couldn't believe it.
If I have a company, right, and you guys are my employees, and I determine what you get to eat every day, that's also going to determine how you exist in this company, right? Like if you come to work and I say the only thing you can eat is processed foods and fried foods, and you're not going to get to have the best vegetables, etc. What's that going to affect? Your health. That's going to affect your ability to operate, etc. This is how the United States States operates. There's a lot of us that don't want to admit that as much as accountable as we want to be, all of our brains also don't operate the same way. Some of us are much more apt to be indoctrinated than others. That's a fact. There is a 1% of people that knows this. There's a whole show called Mad Men that's about advertising, etc. And if we don't acknowledge multiple things at the same time, then we simply cannot stop it. We can be as accountable as we want to be. And I hope that if you're right, because I hope you're right, I wish that it was a situation where if black people could just be accountable, then nothing else would matter. But unfortunately, that hasn't been the case, because we have seen when we have Black Wall Street in Tulsa and we have Black Wall Street in Durham, that when we actually do hold our own and build our own communities, they will still come and run it down.
Pause. You've been voted
And the Negro Leagues.
out. Please return to your seat.
This motherfucker, bruh,
You've been voted out. Please
bruh, you gotta see this. There's about to be a fight.
Oh my God.
Joshua.
He was about to pull that boy off that seat. Look at him. That's crazy.
So I have two claims I want to settle. So I'm originally from New Orleans, right? And I seen black on black crime my whole life, right? Yes. I don't believe it have nothing to deal with the police. It's more with the community, because there's a lot of pride that's in that city, where to the point where this person ain't telling me nothing, I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna take him out.
Yeah.
Is that simple in New Orleans?
Yeah.
Now in Cali it's probably the same way, but I feel like every state is different. You probably the way how your belief is might
So
be.
you just assume that California is the same as New Orleans, but you just said that every state is different.
Right, but in New Orleans, it's a little different. Also, my second claim is this.
You only got like 600,000 people in your city, sir.
Black lives matter, but when it comes down to a white person killing a black person, it's a big deal.
Yes, because they usually get preferential treatment, sir. That's why it's a big deal. Instead of them sitting in jail, they get these bonds and they have the means to get out. Like you saw with Rittenhouse, the judge and the lawyer were in on it. Make sure he gets home. You have these DAs that will not charge correctly for a black death, just to make sure an old boy gets to go home. But when it comes to us, we get these ridiculous amounts of bail. We get inadequate representation unless we go pay for it. And it doesn't matter. We could prove we're innocent and still go to jail. And then decades later come out, they give us a little penny pinching settlement because we got to go sue to go get the money and try to claw back some semblance of our life that you took away for free labor. But y'all don't want to talk about that. Y'all don't want to talk about reforming the justice system. You just say stop doing crime. Well, put more resources in. You stop crime. That's why y'all move to the white suburbs, right? They have more resources, less crime.
It just don't make no sense to me.
Do you know what the statement Black Lives Matter is actually stating?
Yeah, well, just started out from George Floyd.
Start off with Mike Brown.
What? Black conservatives, y'all gotta take this L. Y'all gotta take this L times 20. This fool thought BLM started with George Floyd. My God. Now, I'm gonna give him a pass. And this is the only pass I'm giving him. He looked like he in his 20s, so he might have been a teenager when Black Lives Matter started, so he might not remember. He might even have been in grade school. But come on, bro, you got a smartphone in your pocket. You were better off saying I didn't know. But that just shows you, family, them white conservatives trained them well, because they're going to associate BLM now and our problems with George Floyd. This is nasty.
Okay.
So Black Lives Matter is really simply just stating that when Black people are murdered by the police, that our lives should matter. And that oftentimes it is not considered. It is oftentimes presented as we deserved it, or we must have done something to cause it, and that our lives are disposable. We also don't ever see true justice on the same level as others when the police incur violence against Black people. So Black Lives Matter is a statement asserting that our lives are worth justice, our lives are worth preservation, and we have seen in innumerable instances a level of restraint operated between the police and people of other races that they do not seem to carry with Black people. So that's what Black Lives Matter means. It doesn't mean that anyone else's life doesn't matter. It means that ours matter just as much as their lives.
That's good that you cleared it out for people.
You mean cleared it up for you, bruh? But that's okay.
I appreciate you. Now, as it comes to New Orleans, tell me this. Well, first of all, it was, I think it's the senator of Louisiana who literally made a campaign ad, Kennedy it was, that said, do you want Louisiana to be run by crackheads? Like, he said that, like, straight
they
up.
have a bunch of them there. Yeah.
So here's my question about New Orleans. Would you say that New Orleans gets, that particular areas of New Orleans, for instance, like the Ninth Ward?
The Ninth Ward's crazy, but...
Do they get the same resources?
Would you say that funding and attention is dispersed equally across New Orleans in terms of resources? Because I know that from living through Katrina, that is absolutely not the case.
I agree with you in that case. Everybody's not equal when it comes down to resources. For sure, I agree with you.
Here's the thing I want to just impart, is that I think that we have a very distorted version of what resiliency and what restorative practice is, because we live in a time where we're seeing so many things happen so fast. So, like, we've seen technology, like, advance so fast, right? Like,
all right, we're going to move on to the next one. Just remember, since they want to play that we should just be accountable, just remember, Torian and I last year did that story about that STEM program for robotics in New York that was supposed to be open to Black and Latino students. And them Asians got pissed off because they were let out because they had to prove their income. And they ended up getting the program shut down. And the reason I brought that up, because the next thing they're going to debate is systemic racism. I remember Angolan boy said there's no systemic racism.
history.
Now look who comes up.
Hello, John.
Nigga.
Hello, John Samuel. First name.
Nigga, look at the fam. Look at the fit. Look at the fit. Sir, what are we doing? He got on a dashiki and an Akuma necklace. What are we doing? I know it's not an Akuma necklace. I'm just saying. And this dude is trying to run for office in San Diego. He's running for some political seat. William, thank you for the $5. That's a blessing.
Hello, John.
John Samuel.
Hello, John Samuel. First name. All right.
Blame my parents.
Hi, parents.
I want to listen to you first. Why do you feel that? Why do you feel that way?
John went to debate training before he came here. Okay.
Look at that.
I feel that way because it's simply just facts. It's in the books, and that's why there have been laws to challenge it. There have been innumerable instances where actual systems were created specifically for the impediment of Black people to advance. We have also seen innumerable instances where there were things created for Black people to advance, and they were taken back under the auspices of, we don't want them to advance. Ultimately, systemic racism exists in our institutions on a government level, in our institutions, whether it's prisons or schools, and it is undeniable because they are actively trying to reinstate it right now.
Can you give me an example of one of those systems that you believe perpetuates that cycle of racism? Redlining? Okay. Yes. And how does that, can you elaborate? How is that affecting the Black community?
Do you know what redlining is?
I know a little bit. I'm
Why? Oh, God. How y'all gonna argue against black people? You don't even know the systems that kept black people down. I don't understand this. Somebody got to help me out. How do these black conservatives want to argue us down on stuff, especially with reparations, and they don't even have the knowledge to fight us on it? You don't even know what we're talking about. How do you get up there and don't know what redlining is? I want you to keep a pin in that. I want you to keep a pin into that because he's going to say something later that y'all going to shake your heads on.
I'm not an expert.
Redlining was a system that was created to determine property values and that said black people can only live in certain neighborhoods and not in other neighborhoods. And the redlining lowered the property values of those black neighborhoods by stating that they were more savage, that they were more dangerous, etc. Thus, they were not able to own property that was on a level of par to their white counterparts. There were also many efforts at just simply not allowing black people to get loans for property, putting them in predatory scenarios where they were being essentially unable to own land. And that inability to own land, but still having to pay out a mortgage, if you will, or a rent, continue to put black people in a conundrum of not being able to excel at the same economic rate as their white counterparts.
What I'm hearing from you, if I'm hearing correctly, is it feels like in the United States that for a while we've kind of established these systems at their foundation and they've continued on and they've continually just oppressed black people and we haven't dismantled them and we haven't done much to them, so they continue to complete the cycle. Is that what I'm hearing correctly?
Well, in many of these systems, they have been dismantled maybe in name, but because this country has never dismantled the culture of racism, they end up still living in practice.
They all put up their flag on this man already.
In the way that the appraisal system works. Now we saw there was an entire documentary on how appraisals have been also very racist, home appraisals, right? So your ability to sell your house for the value that it deserves.
Right.
There were a number of homes, particularly in Marin County, California, where black people had one appraisal when they had their blackness up. So they had their dashikis hanging, and they had they had their Black Good Times poster. But then when they removed all of those items and put up white people and a dog in the house and then had their white friends come and pose as the owners of the home, the appraisal was significantly higher. And we have seen that in a number of instances. Now, of course, that is just Marin County, but there are a number of other scenarios where this has been relayed. And that's why there were certain efforts by the Democratic Party to say, okay, well, we're going to try and step in for this.
I actually remember that case and I watched it with the family and I thought that was just really just terrible. But the problem I guess I have with systemic racism is, I guess for somebody like me, where my family comes from, the Deep South, you probably don't even know it, Aliceville, Alabama.
Okay.
That's where my grandparents are from. And my grandpa came, if you saw the house that he grew up in, I'm not trying to be funny, it looked like a slave house. It was just, they grew up in poverty.
Told you to keep a pin in that.
And the fact that he was able to go from that and get the highest rank enlisted in the United States Navy amidst, all these, systems, so to speak, and he was able to buy his own house out in San Diego. He was able to,
Sir, and you don't see that was a problem? That he had to leave where he was from to go to a whole nother state he didn't know to get a house, instead of being able to go back and build up his infrastructure that he came from. You don't see what the problem is. That's literally what she was talking about the whole time. They extract everything from us, disperse it everywhere, and then when we say something, they say we're complaining.
pass on these things to his son, my dad, and his grandchildren. Now I'm able to get an education. I was able to get my undergrad, my master's.
A lot of black people went to the military and didn't get those access to those benefits. And by the way, the reason why you were able to get all those set-asides was because black people had to go die in the streets for you to get it. Black people are the reason why you have a master's degree. Because remember, they weren't letting black people in to colleges like that. But you're right.
That, the great-great-grandson of enslaved peoples can now say that, educated and can even run for Congress. I don't see how these systems are still in place as they were before. Because before, I would say you do have a little bit of a foothold. You do have some validity there. But I just think these days, when we call it systemic racism, really what we're calling it is those people who may still be in those institutions, those individual people who may actually be racist and hold some racist ideals, who are continuing to perpetuate this.
You just explained what systemic racism is. He didn't even realize it. Black conservatives, y'all gotta take this L times 20. This fool just explained systemic racism. Yes, the policies are in place. You still need people to enforce it.
I believe it's those people. So in all reality, the problem is not the systemic racism. The problem is us. The problem starts with those people who are perpetuating these racist ideals. And so
Okay, if you get rid of them, guess what? Those racist ideals start dying. Now, don't they? If you show them there's consequences for being a racist, they stop being racist. Or they'll go in their home and be racist where nobody's going to hear them. Like a lot of y'all did when Bush was in office. Remember, them conservatives love to say that when Bush was in office, we didn't see the racism, and it was a great country to live in, even though we couldn't afford shit, because he was over there running his war. Well, technically Cheney's, but you know what I mean. And when Obama showed up, that's when all the racism showed up. All of a sudden. Here's an idea. Let's get rid of all the racists on both sides. Y'all want to bring back up white liberals? Cool. Let's get rid of white conservatives too. Let's get rid of black conservatives. Let's get rid of black liberals. Let's get rid of the far right. Let's get rid of the far left. Since you want to go to Congress, sir, I think you could agree with me. Let's get rid of everybody in Congress. Let's start fresh. Let's get rid of the lobbyists, the special interest groups. Let's get rid of the bastard interns that y'all trying to groom to be the next racist policymakers. Let's get rid of all of them. Let's get all the foreign money out of this government that's influencing these people. Let's start fresh. Let's rebuild America like the forefathers did from the ground up. But that would also require accountability that y'all were never, ever, ever, ever taught. Because as much as he's trying to sound smart and the rest of them idiots in there, they all sound like victims. And the aggressor is black people.
I feel like just to attack these systems is it's nonsensical.
Who's running the systems?
Like which system? You're talking about
whether
Congress, government?
Whether it's the prison industrial complex, we're seeing this now with immigration and ICE. We're seeing this also with the effort at not making schools available for equal level of schooling available with the voucher systems that are now allowing tax dollars to allow people to go to segregated schools.
Right.
Who is controlling those systems? So for instance, in Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
So in Tennessee, you have a Senate and a House of Representatives that is largely controlled by white Republicans and that have actively said, we are not going to consider what the people want in our constituencies. We are going to simply just do what we want to do, to the point where they have removed.
So it's only in those states that have largely white legislators or largely white people are controlling the systems. I'm not trying to.
All right, guys, I'm so sorry. You have been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Y'all still wrong with this pregnant chick. Y'all pissing me off.
So to go back to your claim, you basically said something about Tennessee and how they said what exactly. You said they are not in favor of what their people said, or?
Yeah, Tennessee has actively said, we're not really listening to our constituency. We're not even going to allow them in the gallery when we're voting on certain issues. So for instance, like when it comes to like guns in the classroom. Like the constituency very largely said, we do not want guns in the classroom. And they were like, well, we don't care. We're going to do it anyway. We've also seen them actively silence members of the House of Representatives who are Black and not silence someone who is doing the exact same action who is a white woman, Gloria. Shout out to the Justins.
You are right, actually, on this aspect. I did actually remember a time where 2 Black Democrats, I believe, were actually not allowed to speak. And that was interesting. And I found that really, like, insane, considering they're representatives of the state.
But y'all want to sit up here and say there's no systemic racism. You just what? I don't know who saw this, but white people are actively cheering Tim Burchett out of, ironically, the state they're talking about, Tennessee. Lament the fact that he can't go outside at night in D.C. because there's too much crime. But y'all quick to blame the Black community for all the crime. I thought all the crime was happening in D.C. in Sophie's. So Tim Burchett, are you going to Sophie's to get your head kicked in? I know the food down there good. I'm just saying. Let us know. I don't think a lot of these kids are just conservatives. I think what happened was Trump got in and he must have said something that stoked them and they just ran over to the conservative side. They're not real conservatives. Most of these people in here are liberal.
Yeah. So, no, I totally can get where you're coming from, but I don't think that's a institutionalized problem where it's a law per se. I think it's more so a personal vendetta in a way.
What's the difference if you are a lawmaker and you're exacting your personal ability, your personal choice through impediment of law change?
So if we're going to go based on systemic racism, it has to be institutionalized, which means it has to be written into law, made public. When it comes to that aspect, that's not necessarily made public by law. That's made public by choice and actual discrimination by person.
So I can give you an example in Tennessee.
Okay.
So for instance, in Tennessee, we can say that they are put into law that now tax dollars, the public's tax dollars will be supporting voucher systems. The voucher systems for the schools allow parents to choose whatever school they want their child to go to using taxpayer money. And these schools can be private schools, and private schools are not in any way limited from creating systems of segregation. And this is actually how segregated schools was carried out previous to Brown versus Board of Education. So this is a systemic example.
Well, technically, they have a leg to stand on because they're going to tell you that you got to pay to get in there, and they should be afforded some luxury of being able to weed out their clientele. That's going to be a fight. I think they're going to win that, but, you just got to clarify it real fast.
We also can acknowledge that systemic examples come from not always it being written into law. And I think that is a real straw man argument for the way that a lot of colorblind racism is carried out in the United States. And what happens when we do that is we ignore the fact that most of the people making the laws are not going to put their racism on the books.
Oh, that's true. Obviously not going to put on the books.
They put up the flags on them.
Of 1964, then you also want to talk about the one in 1968. They did actually give more fair housing equality.
That was the goal.
Yeah, that's true.
But you see, that's the thing. It's like if so that's the difficult part of not changing a culture. You can change the law all day, but as Martin Luther King Jr., as the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. talks about in his final book, he says, I feel like I integrated my people into a burning house because he understood America to be a place of morality.
Well, when it came back to even back in the 1960s, like Lyndon B. Johnson actually proposed many systems in place
But after that, people still got lynched.
Well, I can't really say that's a systemic problem. That's definitely a personal heart problem. Those are
He said lynching is not a systemic problem. Sir, Black people still getting lynched in this country. They may not be hanging from a rope. They're still being lynched. But, all right.
More people's individual choices against someone else. But when
if
it
the
came
system
down
that's
to
in place does not incarcerate those people or create any repercussions for those actions, then it is systemic. Because when you don't allow for there to be repercussions for harmful behaviors of the people, you're literally
ABL
saying
put
our
up his
system
flag.
is okay with this. So that's what Black Lives Matter is about, right? Saying like, okay, if police are going to act in this way, well, there should at least be fair repercussions across all people that they're doing this to, and they're not carrying out those repercussions for Black people. Why? And so the system is supporting this personal point of view that you're talking about, and that's what makes it also systemic, along with the fact that we know for a fact that the number of Black people incarcerated is greater per capita than white people. We know that Black people are having longer sentences for the same crimes than white people. This is not me making that up. Like, that is actual data.
All right,
So
pause.
systemic is real.
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, how you doing, Amanda? I'm Brian. Nice to meet you. Thanks for being
Here
here.
we go.
All right, well, what I would say is, as far as systematic racism, right? I think most of us would agree that, at the very least, it has occurred in this country.
Okay.
Right? You know, we've had slavery, we've had Jim Crow.
You know what's funny? I just noticed something. And y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. The few photos and still shots that I showed y'all of these people debating her, you know, for them to keep saying that hip hop is bad and all this, why they all got this hip hop aesthetic? Why weren't they like Martin Luther King in a nice full suit? Do you like 3 of these people had the same haircut? The fade on the side and the rest of their hair pushed up like a mini fro. But hip hop bad. I'm just wondering. That just bothered me.
Integration, all these different things.
Yeah.
I think my argument would be that right now, in modern America, I don't think, at the very least, it's not as prevalent as it has been to where it could stop us from being successful. Okay, I would say that it's not a thing anymore where it needs to be talked about so much, and so much attention focused on it. I don't think that currently there is systematic racism in a way that is going to be harmful to us.
Yay!
You know, like I said, to stop us. If anything, really, I think institutions such as things with DEI.
What do you think DEI
I was going to go do it.
Basically, I think that it's in a way it's racism against other races outside of Blacks. And so,
Where did you get that concept of it?
Huh? He said DEI was racism outside of Blacks. What? Sir, say that again. I want to make sure I heard it correctly.
It's not a thing anymore where it needs to be talked about so much and so much attention focused on it. I don't think that currently there is systematic racism in a way that is going to be harmful to us. You know, like I said, to stop us. If anything, really, I think.
Why is Braxton? Let me let Braxton pre-Hart Nakoon. Let me let him finish.
Institutions such as things with DEI.
What do you think DEI is?
Basically, I think that it's in a way it's racism against other races.
It's racism against other races. Okay.
Other Blacks. And so,
outside of Blacks.
I've researched a lot of things. I looked at different clips from both sides of the argument.
Oh, you looked at different clips from both sides of the argument. Well, sir, white women benefit the most. So I hope you read that part. Just like they were the biggest beneficiaries of affirmative action. I hope you read that if you ever studied affirmative action. How was it outside of Blacks? Because according to your side, or we were the biggest recipients of it, they equate DEI with us. I don't know how. Because they put some Black folks in those positions. That's for us. Okay.
It's like that. But basically, my point is, I think that as far as systematic racism, I think that there's evidence from the other side in that there's different things that are pushing Black people up in ways that are not fair, and different things like that. Because I think that we should be merit-based. I think that should always be merit-based, and when we're in, you know, when there's jobs and different things like that, race should not be something that's considered.
Great. And if we were merit-based, we'd be whooping everybody's ass right now. That's why they don't want merit-based programs around here. we kick y'all's ass badly.
So I think that, let's say that there are ways right now where systematic racism is still alive. Again, it's not holding us back to a point where we can still be successful. We've seen so
It's
many
not
examples,
holding us back.
today in modern times where Black Americans can, there's no opportunities that I have that a white person or that a white person have that I don't have. I believe that.
Okay, sir, go ahead. Okay, sir, since you want to play that game, let's play that game. Go to a bank and try to ask them for $100,000 to go start your business and see if they're going to give it to you. Go ahead. Same credit rating with that white man or white woman and see if they're going to give it to you at a favorable rate. And after you do that, right, I want you to go commit a crime, right? Same crime. You and the white man. I want you two to go rob a bank. And I want you to be the first one that snitches, right? Listen to me when I talk. I want you to be the first one that snitches so you can get the best deal. And you tell me when they sentence both of you dumbasses who's going to do more time. And you didn't hold the gun. Then when you're done with that, I want you to go to Hollywood, sir. I want you to go to Hollywood. I want you to create a best-selling movie for these studios. Guaranteed on a small budget to make about $400 million. So you're gonna make hella profit for the studio. I want you to tell me how much your cut is against the white director that they're gonna put in front of it. And tell me if it's the same. And you created it. You're the reason why that white director got a job. He got that opportunity. I want you to tell me how much they gave you, how much he got, or she.
Are you sure about that? Can you actually say that?
I would say that I have every opportunity in this country to be successful, to do what I want to do, and to stand on business that every other race has. Absolutely. And
do you have the
again,
same support?
Even if I don't have the same support, I can do what I got to do.
Do you have the same support?
I probably have more. I
do
can
you have the
more
same
support than
community
others.
support?
I have excellent community support.
That's
Absolutely.
lucky for you.
Sure. Yeah.
Where did you grow up in a lower income, middle income, high income community?
It was middle income.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So again,
keep
I
going.
think that even those who grow up in very needy situations, right? They may not have been dealt a great hand of cards.
But they still.
They still persevered, did they not?
It comes down to accountability. You can still.
They went right back to accountability. Again, Ben Carson came out of the lower income and he became one of the top surgeons in the world. What are we doing, sir? There's been plenty of people that came out of a lower class system and made it out here and created something. Y'all love to give them immigrants credit and they start from there. When it's a black immigrant and they doing that, y'all give them all the credit in the world. Y'all want to give them all these praises. But when a black American does it, oh, that's an outlier. Negro, you came from a middle-class household. You haven't seen the bottom. I did. I saw all three sectors. So please, go ahead.
play your hand and play your cards strategically in a way where you can still be successful, you can still
strategically,
do your thing, and you can wind up on top. And there's nothing stopping us from doing that.
Would you say that low-income white people and low-income black people have the same ability to excel?
I would say they have the same ability to excel.
No, they
So
don't.
we're gonna start countering from that point then. So ultimately, we know that our low-income communities are not given the same access to resources on a myriad of levels. They don't even have the same air quality, okay? We know that low-income communities in general are also gonna be much more policed than other communities. We know that policing as it exists in the United States
Let me help Braxton P. Hartnett-Coon real fast. You know how they love to bring up that we have all these liquor stores in our communities? The low-income ones? I would love to ask him, how many liquor stores in a poor white town do you think they have?
came from slave catching. So even the tradition of policing comes from protecting property, not protecting people. Okay? So let's start there. When we talk about low income,
They all put up the
working class
flags.
Black people in this nation, we know that they have never been considered, ever, whether they were slaves or not. They just weren't considered. And we also know, as our brother Isaiah pointed out, that there are still people in very powerful positions that hold very personal positions as it relates to racism. And so in that way, they are impediments to someone moving forward. When we talk about DEI, the concept of DEI is not about lowering a standard. It's about widening the options. So we live in a nation that I feel like a lot of y'all are looking at the United States as a long history of something. We have a short history. All right. For 400 years, there was slavery. Black people were not even considered whole humans. We were 3/5 human. After the Civil War, during Reconstruction, Black people were then subjected to the Black Laws. The Black Laws were specifically for Black people.
You mean, whoa, you mean black codes, not black laws, but I see what you say. But okay, fine.
Such an exorbitant rate that they were able to get another slave labor force through the 13th Amendment because you had Black people that were serving entire life, like months-long, years-long sentences for jaywalking. So when we look at these things, we act as if, well, why can't we just get over that? That's 2 generations previous, okay? So if a father in the early 1900s was incarcerated for 2 years, how do you think that would impede their family from being able to grow, right?
Sure.
Now you're affecting the ability for their children to have 2 parents in the home. You also now have a mother who's like incredibly stressed and may have to always be working, so she's not able to parent, etc. We also know that there is a continued effort in this nation to not have Black people know the history of this nation. Like our good sis here was talking about, like, we have resilience, but this nation actively works systemically to keep that from us, right? We look in Florida at the laws that they are passing to not allow education about our past. And we know that if we don't know where we came from, how can we know where we're going?
Sure, okay.
I'm sorry.
All good.
That's flags.
Yeah.
Why is she back again?
Hi again. We cool now?
We good. I think
All right, they fist bump.
we're kind of looking at the same side of the same coin, and I think we both want the betterment of the Black community, and I think we're
Please don't blame black men again.
from different ways. And so I do respect your position to what you were saying as well, that there are certain things and powers at play. And I've experienced racism firsthand. A lot of conservatives may try to act like, oh, there's no racism in America. I absolutely believe there is racism in America. I believe racist people exist. I just don't think that
A bunch of them niggas in there just deleted her number out of their phone. They just blocked her on social media that she said that.
the systems as they stand today are inherently racist, because I've seen too many Black people overcome. And I just feel like a lot of times what's left out of the dialogue is self-accountability and like self-will. We talked about how we were 3/5 of a person, but now we are 100%, I guess, according to the law or whatever.
You see how those conservative talking points keep creeping back in? Now she's saying we're whole people. Lord. Okay. They're still not getting it. It's like it's there, and then they just... I can't go too far because then I'm going to sound pro-black.
A person, and I feel like at the the end of the day, if you wanted to walk out here right now and decide, you know what, I want to change my career, I want to do that, you can. And that's why so many people, and
Not in this economy.
and Indians come here, and so many people who are not white, who are supposed to be discriminated against because they're not white, they come here and they become doctors and lawyers. Why?
Because they want a buffer class, lady. Remember, your favorite people, them white folk, they the one complaining about it now. They complaining about it more than we are. Did you forget what happened over Christmas? A South African immigrant and an Indian immigrant got raked through the coals because they wanted Indian labor force over here. They wanted to create a caste system in America on steroids with an Indian buffer class. And they got destroyed over it. Again, your president ran on getting Mexicans out of the country. Now running around talking about we going to have to keep them so we can farm and have workers in hotels and restaurants and golf clubs. It's great you're complaining about the Indians. That's great. That's a great conversation to have. But we're not going to sit up here and act as if they wanted this first. And the only reason why they're backing off of it now is because people were like, the government wants this. Nah, the reason why I said that Reparation Nation, a couple of them want a black woman. Which is why, I don't know if you were here yesterday, but I said it in that live. If you're with a black spouse and you're a black conservative, you're never going to go higher than your peak. They're never going to promote you.
Because to your point, there's community. There's a sense of pride about, you know what, I got to go honor my parents back in Nigeria. I am part Nigerian.
There we go. There we go. She let it out.
Who are supposed to be discriminated against because they're not white. They come here and they become doctors and lawyers. Why? Because to your point, there's community. There's a sense of pride about, you know what, I got to go honor my parents back in Nigeria. I am part Nigerian. I have to go.
So she half Nigerian. There you go.
Honor my parents. I have to go honor my elders. They're not twerking and shaking booty. They're getting stuff.
What? She did not just say Nigerians ain't out there pussy popping and twerking. I know she didn't just say that. I know she didn't just say that. Man, we could show you that Nollywood festival they got down there in Houston and they out there twerking. Cut it out. I love how they lie. They the same ones that sat there years ago saying that the twerking started from the Mapoka dance. What do you mean? Oh, man.
Twerking and shaking a booty
Wow,
in
the
Nigeria.
Nigerians I know ain't doing it. Wait, if they are.
You a damn lie. She said the Nigerians I know ain't doing it. You a damn lie. Oh my God. So she's just with the dainty Nigerians. Oh, okay, motherfucker. Here come the lies.
Literally learned it from Africa.
They're doctors twerking and shaking booty.
So doctors don't, so your Nigerian doctors don't twerk. Okay, all right.
Maybe they can shake because they got the money to back it up. But do you see what
They got the money to back it up.
I'm saying, though? We have to be honest, Amanda. When
Well,
Indians
as a fellow daughter of an immigrant,
Okay.
right? So my mother's from Grenada. My mother did come here and was able to work and was able to get green cards
Props
for
to her.
folks. So shout out to my mom. There's a very big difference in growing up somewhere and coming from a place where you are the majority and where your people are running the show than being somewhere where your people have been subjugated the entire time your people have been
But your
here.
mama came here.
And that's a condemnation on the Caribbean too. I'm glad she said it.
She wasn't the majority, so how did she succeed?
She was the majority. She's from Grenada. She was the majority.
She succeeded because she came here with the fortitude of coming from a place.
Her resilience, right?
No, but
and she had her village.
let me say what I'm saying.
College impact.
If we don't acknowledge divide and conquer in the United States, we are having a pointless conversation.
I agree.
We have to acknowledge that there is a concerted effort at divide and conquer in the United States. We're literally watching it happen right now with an effort to divide and conquer and have black people fighting immigrants and have black people saying that immigrants don't matter.
And fighting white people.
White people is not the point. The concept of white people is about people who are upholding as a supremacy of whiteness versus people who understand that there should be an egalitarianism. There should be an equality.
We are becoming the new white supremacists.
We are.
We've been putting them on a pedestal.
We are.
We feel like we can't do anything.
No, it's not that we're putting them. It's not that we're putting them on a pedestal. It's that we are joining them and instead weaponizing our blackness against our people. When we do what you're saying, we are saying, I am better because I figured it out, and so you're the problem because you didn't figure it out.
But Amanda, what about if I believe that the American dream is, I have a right to that as well? Is that me joining white people, or is that me saying, you know what, I want a life for my dream? The American dream for me, because it may look different from other people. Some people it's a boss shit. For me, I want my kids to grow up in a wonderful neighborhood. I want them to go to college. I want to have a 401k. I want to do this. I want to do that. So I feel like a lot of times in the black community, we associate anything that's right or that's just or that's striving forward with whiteness. So when you say that we're
Oh God, they brought back the second grade bullshit that everything great is white. If you smart, you acting white. We doing this again? Now I didn't see this part. I fell asleep when the last person was talking, so I didn't see this part. She can't be serious right now, but she is, and it's crazy that they think like this.
It's not that it's whiteness, it's capitalism. And I think that's what we have to understand the difference of. The concept of capitalism always is grounded in exploitation.
But Amanda, we're sitting here benefiting from capitalism, and you know that because you would.
I understand that we are benefiting. I understand that we are benefiting from capitalism, but I also understand that we would have other people and a majority of people benefit if we were not solely capitalist. That is what it means to be a black radical. It's to understand that I can benefit as well as others.
So, Amanda, what is your solution then? Because we know that capitalism benefits us, and people are coming here every day.
My solution is what I continue to say. We need to have coalition building across cultural differences, across ethnicities, across classes.
And that includes collaborating with white people.
I've never said it didn't. But I think.
How is she not listening? Her thought is everybody got to work together. She's like, including white people. I tell you, I guarantee you she's with a white man. Why is she keeping so hard for white people? I don't get this. You talk about black problems and you bring white people into it when it doesn't need to be there. That's crazy.
This obsession with white people fails to acknowledge the fact that there are people who benefit from white supremacy.
But we live in America,
let me finish my point. There are people who benefit from white supremacy that do not identify themselves as white. They don't consider that to be the most important element of their identity because they understand that at the end of the day, we need to see each other as humans that all deserve a right to exist.
Exactly.
We all deserve a right to exist, and I shouldn't have to earn my right to exist. And that is what capitalism does.
What makes you think that you have to earn it? That's what
that is what this nation is. You do have to earn it. You do. Yes, you do. That is why we are criminalizing the poor.
Wait a minute. She's arguing the fact that Amanda said you have to earn your way in there, but they over there talking about they want a meritocracy. My God, these cosplaying conservatives, boy. Where are y'all low? Oh, sir, Dylan, white people. Oh, never mind. Okay, even if we create the term white supremacy, why are y'all acknowledging it? If you're saying it's not a thing, y'all have more voices than us. Why did y'all not knock it down? I ain't really see it. You might be agreeing with it, but whatever. I don't fucking know. This chick is exhaustive.
We are criminalizing
She's not pro-black though.
How so? Because we're not even allowing for a wage to happen to allow people to get out of poverty. We are seeing inflation grow.
We both have people in our family that have done
Man,
it.
that's not the problem.
I have people that are done it. My mother came to America.
That's not the problem. That's not the problem. The problem is the system is broken right now. You can raise the wages all you want. The system is broken, and they don't want to fix it. The supply chain is fucked up. That's why you have all these jobs that are not working. That's why you're having all these massive layoffs. That's why you're seeing billion-dollar corporations tell you that before the end of the year, all their profits are wiped out. That's why they're moving everybody into tech, because they can control it. They don't want people to be able to make their own decisions. They want them, because they saw what happened during the C-19 thing. They want everybody to follow them.
With an entire nursing degree. I can't say, oh, well, my mother did it, why can't you? Because my mother
was pregnant at 19 from the south side of Chicago with no degree and still made
good
something
for
of
your
herself.
mom. But this is the thing.
So we can't do it.
It's not. The question isn't whether or not some people can do it. The question and the reality is that it is not available to everyone in an equal way.
And that's unfortunate, man. But you know we live in
It's
a broken
not a matter-
society. I went to Nigeria and they're having the same problems, and
But
there's a
that's
bunch
what
of
we're
black
talking
people that
about.
are
It's a
running
broken
Nigeria.
society.
But it's the same thing in
But
Nigeria.
Nigeria is a broken society, whereas Burkina Faso is not. Burkina Faso is not.
That's time.
My final claim is black conservatism fails to meet the needs of the working class.
Woo! They're gonna get pissed at this one. Guess who came back?
And okay, talk to me.
So I think black conservatives, we're the ones who really want the best for working people.
That's the same look I had. You a goddamn lie. Y'all don't want the best for the working people. Lying motherfucker. How you want the best for working people and you actively sit there cheering motherfucking black people losing their job? If you care about black people, you see black people losing their job every day. The unemployment rate for black people is over 7%. Why y'all not out there fighting for us? Y'all got all these big ass platforms. Y'all never say a word. Y'all want to keep talking about accountability. Kiss my ass.
I think we're the ones that, like a lot of the liberals, a lot of the leftists, who want to do things like
This nigga's still living with these leftists. But them same black leftists was outside talking about we need to get the minimum wage nationally to a better number, and y'all said no. All right.
this work. They want us to go reparations, try to get things from the government and get handouts. We say, hey, go out there and work. Go out there and get these jobs that are available. Work with your hands.
What did I tell y'all the other day about them conservatives trying to push these trade jobs now because they heard black people say it? But you niggas ain't leading by example. You niggas is on the internet. You ain't out there. None of these motherfuckers talking right now have trade degrees. Not near one of them. These are all college educated white blackface assholes. You motherfuckers y'all ain't built shit. You ain't had to go stand on your feet for no 12 hours. Consistently for years. You ain't had to build shit. You built a goddamn YouTube channel that was a slave to the algorithm.
Do skilled trades. That's where a lot of us talk about skilled trades. So working
You a damn lie.
Really a black conservative thing, in my humble opinion.
I would beg to disagree. I think that would be true if black conservatism also created pathways for people to get those jobs and also to be able to challenge the corporations that are...
You black conservatives want to talk about trade jobs, but then I go on y'all's pages and y'all talking about, hey, let me show you how to become a social media influencer. Why don't you sponsor some black people, especially the youth? Why don't you sponsor them to go to trade school? Y'all motherfucking Social Blade talking about y'all making $10,000 every month on videos. Why don't you go? Tech schools are not that expensive. Take a quarter of your earnings and go sponsor some kids to go learn a trade. Lead by example. Be like the dude in Philly who was teaching kids how to be electricians and how electricity works and putting in sockets and stuff like that. Go do that. I don't see y'all doing that. I see y'all bitching about the left all day. And that goes double for them black leftists too, because they're the worst ones. Because all they want to do now is protest. Go talk to Al Sharpton and tell him, hey, y'all got tech schools out there, right, in New York. Go get some of them kids in the neighborhood. Go get them in them schools.
Are using their labor, that are stealing from them and not impeding them from having a union. So for instance, like in the South, right? I just left North Carolina where I met with the USSW, the Union of Southern Service Workers. This is an unofficial union of individuals who work at places like Waffle House, at Food Lion, etc. And their unofficial union is unofficial because the conservatives in that state will not allow for them to be officialized.
Legitimized.
Legitimized.
There you go. I got you.
It will not allow for them to be legitimized because then they would be able to push back legitimately on the corporations to get fair wages, right? So like someone was telling me in this organization that she was in Baltimore getting $15.25 as a minimum wage, and then when she moved just one state away, she was now only getting $7.25 for minimum wage, but the cost of living was the same for her. So when we talk about, you know, the effort of saying go out and get these jobs and get these trades, etc., I think that is valid, but I think that the impediments by leveling up corporations and by pouring into the effort of corporations to keep billionaires, as Black conservatives, you are actually cutting off the ability for those people to excel.
Okay, I understand your point, but a lot of us are more about being self-sufficient. So the South, a friend of mine down there, King Randall, has a school for boys. He's what, 22 years old? He has a bunch of kids living with him.
Here we go. Respect to King Randall, but he's living off donations. I understand he's teaching them kids trades. Respect to him for that. You literally just proved her point, though. His county and the state of Georgia, they know what he's doing. They won't help fund it. If they help funded it, guess what's going to happen? He'll be able to inspire somebody else or build another one somewhere else in Brunswick or in another town near him. I'm sorry, he's in Albany, my bad. Maybe he builds one in Brunswick. Maybe he builds one in Atlanta. He gets something going. It's no coincidence that they had that school in Chicago that had 100% graduation rate and they started expanding. And the second they started expanding and more success came, they stopped talking about it. And their death knell was when they had the all-girls school and they would talk about how much fights there were. That just killed everything. Same thing with when they built that micro community in College Park. It got hella traction. They took it out of the algorithm. They don't want Black success, and y'all know that. But y'all would rather bitch about Black people and hip hop and us killing each other instead of helping to fix the problem. Now you want to talk about self-sufficiency. Nigga, you were doing nothing until you turned on your camera. You admitted it. You were working jobs and you weren't happy and you started making videos and that's how you got in. That's not self-sufficiency. Self-sufficiency would have been you having your own network. It's the same thing I said about Tatum Tots yesterday. His peak was Fox News and they didn't bring him on to be a contributor or give him a job. Now he's relegated to Piers Morgan. And now he's begging Charlie Kirk to debate Nick Fuentes. And matter of fact, Torian, you'll sit you in here. You'll like this. they're destroying him on his page right now. Because he's trying, like I said, he's trying the religion grift, and it's not working. And he's over there shilling for Israel and them Jews. They're destroying him right now. But go ahead and tell me that's self-sufficiency.
He's teaching them physical skills they can do. Okay, being a mechanic, working on your car, working on your house, doing things with your hands. So you don't got to worry about corporations. You could be your own man. You could be your own woman. And also, didn't you also say earlier that you're against unions? But are you for them now?
I never said that.
Oh, you're for unions?
Absolutely.
So when the unions keep black folks out, you're for that as well? Because that's traditionally what they've done, keep black folks out, correct?
Obviously, I am not for...
And there's black unions and y'all don't promote them. They just keep walking into this. There's plenty of black unions out there. Y'all don't promote them. I literally brought somebody that was in the trades on here, and he talked about the black unions down here in Georgia and the programs they have down there, but y'all don't want to talk to them type of people. But go ahead.
For that. The reality is that unions have definitely in the beginning kept black folks out. And the reason why they were keeping black folks out was because after the Civil War, when there was Reconstruction, you had all these black people that had been used with free labor, and they had skills, right? Whether they were a blacksmith or a carpenter or whatever. However, they could not get jobs because the white people who now had to fend for themselves, if you will, because they didn't have slaves, they had to go and learn all these trades. Right. And so they actively kept black people out of those jobs. And then what they would do is that when they would, as a union, say, we're going on strike, the black people would be like, well, we'll work because they won't let us in their union anyway. And then when they would go and actually get those jobs that the people were on strike for, they would hang them. They would lynch them. So yes, these are real things that have taken place. But we keep having these conversations where we acknowledge the past when it's convenient, and then we only say in the present when it's convenient. So you can't simultaneously say, well, everybody's fine now.
ABL getting cooked.
At the same time as stating that there are unions that are racist and unions that aren't racist. Ultimately, there is racism in the United States. It is deeply embedded. We have seen it in a myriad of examples, even just yesterday or today. And black conservatives are working against the working class because they are actively placing their vision, their ideology of black excellence in economics solely.
Well, there is racism
and in individual economics. Okay. And I think that's really the big difference of what we're talking about right now. You're talking about every man for themselves. Every man for themselves.
No. I don't say that.
Oh, you say that?
I say that we have to be individual as people, as black people, but still get all of us on the same page. My friend
called him again in another lie. Sir, you just said self-sufficiency. That's the individual. Got them. I told you they're not real conservatives. Isn't family a conservative value, right? But that's not individualism. Caught him.
At school, he's not just looking out for himself, looking for all these kids as well. So it's like, okay.
But that's not self-sufficiency.
Bring everybody else up rather than relying upon the corporations and white people to lift this up. That's where we come from.
So I think there's a difference between relying on and acknowledging that there are impediments of. And I want to acknowledge the reality that we keep seeming to bump up
against. They all put up their flag.
Everybody has equal ability, and they don't. Everybody doesn't have the same impediments. So, for instance, I grew up with a single parent, not because...
Me too.
I grew up with a single parent, not because my father was some deadbeat that didn't have... My father has a MD from Harvard. My father has an MBA from Tufts.
My dad was a firefighter, so working class, conservative.
He just didn't want to be a parent. So when we
did you have to throw that in there, ABL?
The blacks that are, not doing the thing. It's not about...
That nigga just threw his father under the bus. God damn.
We live in a nation that gives the option of, I don't want to be a parent. We live in a nation that gives the option of, I don't need to be in cooperation with our community. And as far as I'm concerned, black conservatives do not address the needs of the working class, which are fair access to resources, which are equal access to getting jobs, which are equal pay to the same access as others. And we don't.
Equal to who?
Equal to other states even. Like, there's no reality where you can say that the same amount of white people are working low-wage jobs per capita as black people. A lot of the reason is because there's such a disparate incarceration of black people that it impedes their ability to get higher-level education as well as higher-level employment because we know about disenfranchisement.
All right, there you go.
Yay! You want something? Well, French fry.
I would actually argue that the black working class is failing themselves. Wouldn't you agree?
Black
that,
working class is failing
in order to get a
themselves.
job, in order to qualify for a certain position and an education system at a job, wouldn't you argue that it should be
I can't believe you just said that.
qualifications and not your race or identity?
I've never argued that. I've never argued that. It's not
I
the
know that
case.
you were saying that you would argue that it should be equal, right? So you're saying that there should be Black Americans in education systems, in jobs, but wouldn't you argue that they should be qualified for those positions and not just placed there because of their skin color?
I've never disapproved that.
Okay, so let's
That's
say
not what DEI is. Do you know that?
Well, I'm not talking about DEI right now. Well,
Because you're suggesting that I suggested that somebody should get a job just because they're black, and I've never asserted anything like that.
I mean, I understand that you may not say that exactly, but a lot
I
of
didn't say that
things
at all.
are, they're pointing to that.
No, it's not pointing to that. And so that is that I need to clear this up because it's a really important point.
Okay.
We live in a nation that has actively pedestaled white people. Can we all agree on that? That we
In
no,
the past,
we can't.
in the
Okay,
past,
in the
but
past,
not currently,
in the past.
but not currently.
So, okay, fair. Okay, so how many black people are part of this administration's cabinet?
I'm not sure. Can you tell me? Can you fill me in?
Zero.
Oh my God, is she serious?
So seems like there may be a
That's
couple.
not a cabinet.
I don't know.
Scott Turner.
Okay.
So we got,
there are.
So we got two.
So there are.
So we got two.
Can we
got
also,
two. We got two. So back to your point, DEI is about expanding,
Oh yes. Okay.
not lowering credibility.
Okay.
So if we have a system that has very actively said these particular people are the best people
Okay.
simply because of their race, DEI said, or their gender,
Okay.
because DEI mostly leveled up white women.
Okay. So it would be incorrect if it's if we're pointing toward this a majority of race is qualified because of the skin, the basic
Absolutely.
skin.
Yeah. Whether they're
Okay.
white, black. I mean, race
great.
is fake anyway.
Now, I do want to touch on a point that you did mention earlier, that you would argue that, black people have less opportunities in America. I do not agree with that. I have not had,
First of all,
a
you're a
problem.
light-skinned woman.
And so are you.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
And you're
And
doing
so
great for
colorism-
yourself.
Yes, and so colorism really does
But
serve us.
I do want to say, why do you think that is, though?
She
Why
said
do you
it.
think that do you think it's just based off the color of our skin, or do you think
Say
it's
you
based
light-skinned,
off
colorism
of the
serves us.
reputation
She
that
said it.
black people make for themselves?
What reputation are black people making for
What
themselves?
would you argue? Because I mean, when I look at
Who makes the reputation
let's
for black
let's
people?
look at music, for example.
We already had this conversation with somebody else.
Well, we're gonna have it again. Most of the people that
Oh, are we?
most of the people.
I'm going to shut it
most
down
of
right
the
now and
black
let you know that the reality is that when you come to black music, for you to say most of the people, you've already lost the argument.
Am I right?
There is no most of the people with black
Most
people
of-
because you haven't heard of all of black
most
music.
of no most
So
of,
let's
but
start
most
there.
of the music that is, let's say, maybe exalted are shown by
And
the
who
media,
controls-
right?
and
Who
it controls the
defiles,
system.
it defiles
And
black
who
Americans.
controls the
But who's
system?
putting it out there?
Who
We
control-
are black
No,
people. We're the ones
actually,
putting
the
it out there.
distribution systems that are putting them out there
And
are owned by white people.
Who listens to them? Because I
I
can.
don't-
Everybody listens to hip hop, madam.
My black friends that are not conservative, they listen to that music that defiles
You know who
their
else-
bodies.
you know
that
who
talks
else
about
White
black
conservatives and black conservatives listen to hip hop.
But if
Am
we
I
don't
right?
acknowledge that they are not in the same way pursuing white voices talking about the same thing, even though they are. We simply like
Okay.
to start at the branches of a tree and not at the root. We have to understand that the media is king. Okay? Media is king.
And media does not favor conservatism. I can tell you that.
Yes, they
right
do.
now. I mean, look at the protests right now. in Las
Yes,
Vegas.
they do.
Depending on who is in office, media does favor them.
I mean, we have Trump in office right now, and media's
And they're still talking about him.
Media is absolutely not favoring Trump
Okay,
in certain
thank you.
spaces because Trump is also not favoring that particular type of media. But it depends
okay.
on the day. And we have to acknowledge that regardless of whether you talk conservatism or not, media has never favored black people at any point.
All right, guys, that's time. You've been
Okay,
voted out.
thank you.
At any point.
Thank you.
I'm back. So let's talk about facts. I just want to move back to systemic racism because you mentioned systemic racism earlier. I just want to look at 3 applications of systemic racism against white people and against East Asians as well. So, for example, we have the National College Attainment Network, which defines affirmative action or even race-conscious admissions as taking race as one of the factors.
It's the Angolan kid again.
And we noticed that when race-conscious admissions was out of it, black enrollment dropped 64% at UC Berkeley. And that is an act of systemic racism. Trying to look at people's races and allow them into colleges whether or not they're of a set race is racism. And it's race conscious. And Martin Luther King's most famous quote is that he doesn't want his children to be judged based on race, but by the content of their character. And the
Y'all
content
love
of
bringing
people's
that
characters
up.
also includes merit. We have another example of systemic racism. Burgess Owens, he's a representative out of Utah. He's a black Republican representative. He called out the MIT president for having black-only dormitories. I mean, what does that mean? Why are we trying to segregate each other and say...
And that same one let a C student get in when they're supposed to have a high standard. What are you saying, sir? And by the way, that kid was white.
That black people feel safer amongst black people, and the truth is they're actually more in danger when they're around black people, and that's unfortunate. It's sad that I'm saying this, but it's the case.
And white people are more in danger around white people.
Black people are killing each other at a vast, crazy rate. Black men rapping about it. It's savagery. It's
always back to hip hop.
We shouldn't be doing it as a people. We should try to get more Ben Carson's. Ben Carson's cousins were murdered when he was younger, but his mother...
God, why are you bringing up Ben Carson, sir? He started in the hood. Ben Carson is a product of the ghetto. Most of you fools ain't never lived in the ghetto. You have a romanticized version of it. Most of you jackasses never had to ride public transportation to get to school. You didn't see them real problems that these rappers were talking about. Most of y'all never been around the Bloods and the Crips. Y'all don't know what that real life is like.
Came to him and gave him...
By the way, remember, he's Angolan.
Read and studied so to not be like his cousins. And Ben Carson separated two twins at the back of the head, and he's known as one of the best renowned neurologists or neuroscientists that we've ever seen, right?
Ben Carson said that slaves were immigrants.
Well, they were brought here to the United States, and many of them were slaves, and we know that to be a fact.
What is the difference between someone being an immigrant and being a stolen person?
I mean, I understand that many people were stolen here, but 90% of historians agree that slavery would have not been possible if black slave owners within Africa didn't sell off their people. White people didn't show up and just start stealing people. They didn't do that. That's not how that worked.
They literally did that.
But they didn't. They worked with black owners and black... The Arabs, the same thing.
Did that.
It's funny you guys talk about Europe.
Sir.
And I think it's very important, and I think it's important to note that...
Sir, they literally went to Africa to get the slaves. They literally heard about a set of people on a continent that had an abundance of labor. Literally did it. Literally took them to the Caribbean. Literally took them to America. Literally took them to Brazil. What the hell is wrong with you? Because you're only saying that because his people from Angola, and they weren't part of the slave trade like that.
There is an oversimplification of history as well as of black people in Africa. There's a failure to acknowledge that in Africa, black people did not consider themselves black people. That was a racial distinction that was solely created by white oppressors to legitimize slavery.
Arab oppressors, actually. The Arabs did it in the 7th century. They were the first ones.
They did not name it under blackness. They simply just decided we're going to go and have enslavers. This was a decision that was actualized and then tried to be pushed forward through eugenics. Literally, there was an executive order that was passed a few months ago that said that Donald Trump wants to now control the museums because he wants to take back control of the narrative around race. And in one of these museums that they cited was that there was a display that speaks about race not as a biological thing, but as something that has just been created as a social construct. And he stated that that is an incorrect expression of race, that race is biological.
But it is biological. Like, let's look at our phenotypical traits, the nose differences, the hair texture. It's
this nigga just said race is biological. Boy, you better get on. Black conservatives, you gotta take this L times 20. I'm Dylan, you sound retarded. Nobody ever said that black people weren't sold by black people. Again, y'all are blaming the seller and not blaming the buyer. I shall blame you if you buy a hot stereo. Because you should have known better. I can't believe you're sitting here in 2025 defending people buying other people. Are you serious right now? You cannot be serious. This young whipper-coon just said race is not biological. So let me ask you a question, sir. When the mixed kids come outside, how come they're identified as black? And they're only half. How could a half be the majority of another half? How? Jesus Christ. Who is teaching these baby coons?
Logical thing.
Oh,
Sure,
baby.
there's a
It is
social
not,
concept,
sir,
but
sir,
there's biological
okay,
differences that
sir,
exist.
you're
Fine.
very convicted in your
You look
lack
different.
of information
People can look
around
different.
these things. Race and ethnicity are two different things, okay?
I'm talking about
Ethnicity
race.
is where you're from. Race is literally something that was created to put people into categories of caste, to put people into categories of oppression. Race is not something that you are. Race is something that was bestowed and put
That's
upon you.
racism, not race. Race is
No,
simply the
race is
aggregation.
literally something that was created and put upon you. And I want you to listen to me as somebody who has studied this, who has a master's in African American Studies from the Institute for Research in African American Studies at Columbia University. I want you to understand very clearly that race is not something that is biological. There is literally
Look at us.
no.
Look at the
There is no.
differences.
There is many differences that are equated to our
Negro! There's differences between black people based on ethnicity, sir. Oh my God. And he from his people from Angola, he don't know this. You're Angolan, you're not gonna look like a Nigerian, sir. That has nothing to do with race. Jesus Christ. Two white people can look the same and they're from two different sectors of Italy. That's ethnicity, sir. This is what I mean when I say black conservatives sit up here and do surface level research and think they're the smartest people in the room. I asked my wife to get me a cheesesteak and fries. I'm sorry. It's just so damn good.
Melanie
It has nothing to
Thompson
do
is
with
not
race.
biological at
So
all.
if you have a black parent and you have a white parent, and now you come out looking white, how is that a biological
But most
proof of your race?
most of them
There's
come
no
out
most of them.
having
Stop,
curly hair.
stop. There's no most of them. You do not
Mixed
have
race?
anything to
You're
prove
mixed
that.
race, too.
I am not mixed race. My mother is black and my father is black.
Well, my father is also considered black, but he's very much has a lot of European DNA. And
You know what I think? I think that you are at a phase of your learning where you are a contrarian. And I look forward to seeing your development because I have a feeling that you're actually going to flip the script eventually because you are
Facts.
somebody that definitely is grounded in wanting
I
to
told y'all that
learn
earlier.
facts
He gonna
and
become
wanting to
pro-black. You watch
choose
what I tell
things.
you.
However, you're currently still stuck in an indoctrinated space that is tricking you into thinking that you are something that you are not. You are a black person who is literally having to receive the results of racism, but ultimately you are of an ethnicity that has thrived in spite of it. And that is where we really exist from. And that is where our resilience comes from in spite of systemic racism.
I think our resilience is happening now. I think growing, understanding the real problems, not going out and trying to protest against. You guys don't ever do this. KTS.
You
Dre,
guys don't ever do that.
KTS
Who is
Dre.
you guys?
Members of the black community don't want to hold people accountable, especially black people. So KTS Dre was.
Oh my God, he's back to this again. We don't hold people accountable. Sir, you just watched the election. We held people accountable. Are you serious right now? If we didn't hold people accountable, Kamami would be president right now. Hakeem Jeffries would be the Speaker of the House. Stacey Abrams would be the governor of Georgia. What are you talking about? It seems like every time we get into politics and we hold people accountable, people lose their jobs. Just like Byron Donalds next year, he's not going to make it. He's not going to make it to governor. He's not going to make it to Tallahassee. We're holding him accountable for what he said about reparations. And then y'all gonna come outside after he loses and say, oh, the black community didn't come outside for that man. Because you dare not blame white people who are, all, by the way, in Florida turning on him. But all right.
60 times outside of Cook County, Chicago. How many BLM members came out? You earlier said BLM
Stop
is about
referring
police.
to me as you guys.
Okay, that's fine. So, for example, we had a really good example of this where it's not a police, because I remember you
Where
said...
are you from?
Where am I from? What do you mean by that? Like, what state am I from? Where was I born?
Where do you live right now?
I live in Florida. I was born in Angola, though. I was born in sub-Saharan Africa, okay?
Where did you grow up for most of your time?
In Maine. I lived in North America.
In Maine?
Yes.
And what is the population
Maine.
of black people in the town that you're from?
It's really extremely low, but I grew up around black people, and there was a black community where I lived.
And that black
You grew up
community-
around Africans, sir.
Did they teach you about black history in the
No.
United States? Like, are your parents,
In February.
are your parents black American?
Yeah, my mom is black. My father is black.
No, I'm asking, were they born in the United
No,
States?
because I wasn't born there.
Oh, so you guys are all from Angola?
Yes. But again, like I told you earlier, right? In terms of people like KTSJ, they were shot. BLM doesn't come out for them. And I remember you earlier said...
think it's really
hold on, can I
important
please finish? Can I please finish? You earlier said that BLM is worried about police, but when Daniel Penny choked out the man that we all know was causing violence on that subway...
What violence was he causing?
He was
Causing disruption.
Now we're at the point where Jordan Neely caused violence on the train, even though everybody on the train said he was just yelling and throwing his thing down. He threw his coat down and was yelling. That's violence. Okay. They always got different definitions. They always want to change the definition when it comes to us. Okay.
It's not causing violence.
He was threatening people.
Causing disruption is not causing violence.
And the people there helped him also. And you know that he would help them.
I don't know what that has to do with BLM. Random people on a train is not Black Lives Matter.
BLM showed up for that. They did.
Showed up for what?
BLM showed up threatening white people, saying that they were going to
No,
go
they
get white
didn't.
people.
No, they didn't.
Protested.
BLM New York.
They
BLM
protest.
Where did
No,
you get that
sir.
from?
See, this is what I mean. You probably still in Maine, you lying bastard. Sir, and I don't like BLM and I don't like Hawk Newsom, but they went out there to protest the fact that it took a week to get Daniel Penny charged. They took a statement from him the same day and sent him home. And everybody was like, so he's not going to get charged. That's why they were protesting. They don't even know. That was a whole new story. Y'all don't remember this. Okay. It was just the verdict. It was the deletion and the verdict. Nothing in between. All right.
You see, your sources are not, you're not able to cite your sources. Please go sit down.
Yeah. That's
Oh my gosh, she told him to go sit down.
It's not the truth. It's not the, nothing you say is actually the truth.
My God.
You're not even American.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It is
Oh my Lord, she did not just say that. She said you're not even American. You're not even American. Oh my God. And baby, I made it even out there. She sounded like Black Alpha in Tori. It's hilarious. What? Yeah. But then you had it in the fridge. She said, you're not even American. You're not even a Black American. Oh my God, no. That boy is salty. Look at his face. He's salty.
Yeah, that's the truth.
It's not the truth. It's not the truth. It's not the nothing you say is actually the truth. Nothing. You're not even American. You're not even a Black American. As the daughter of an immigrant, it is imperative
salty.
that Black people from other places understand the disparate difference that they exist from Black people in the United States. It is not the same. Period. And ultimately, the best effort that we can do as a diaspora is to lead in understanding, not in judgment. So when I am talking to somebody from Sudan, from the Congo, from Angola, I am listening to understand their experience, not to undermine it. And I refuse to allow anybody from Grenada, from Angola, from any other place to come and try to undermine the experience of Black Americans.
Bruh. Go ahead, Amanda Diva. Now she gonna choose somebody to debate for 10 minutes.
Who feels passionately about something that they want to talk to me about? So I choose John Samuel because I like his facial hair and dashiki. Like he's gonna sing a mean R&B.
He gonna sing a mean R&B.
Which one? My claim is that black people as a community need to walk away from the Democratic Party and progressivism.
Sir, you literally saw that happen in the election. Why is this even a subject? Y'all were literally touting the fact that black people, especially black men, were running over voting for Trump in the last election. So it sounds like they ran away from the Democrat Party. Newsflash, sir, that's why they have a problem messaging right now. Because they don't know what the black community is thinking. And they don't know how to craft the message around, we tired of voting for all these politicians that ain't gonna do nothing. They still haven't figured out that voice. You saw how quick that black support for Zohan Mandani up in New York, you saw how quickly that faded. Because black folk up there started doing their real research and listening to this man talk and realized he ain't for us. He ain't for the betterment of the city. Most of black America got the hint. If you ain't gonna help us, then we not gonna give you our vote. We good.
Completely. I'm saying this from a very unique perspective. I'm not trying to shout myself or anything. This is really just my experience. Currently, I'm running for Congress, right? And one of the biggest hurdles I have in doing that is the black community.
You're scared to go talk to them.
They expect us to be in this box.
What's the box?
The box would be, okay, you're black, so you got to be a Democrat. You got to think this way. You have to have this view on this matter.
Do you hear this? You let white people put that in your head, sir. No, the problem is because you running for the GOP. Y'all don't want to go talk to black people. Y'all scared to go to black neighborhoods and talk. I'll reference it again. I did it last year, and I think I did it the year before. Not even just last year, though. Devin R. Jones out there in Chicago, who works on the South Side, and is a registered Republican, asked Rob Smith and Kim Klacik, since y'all got so much to say about Chicago and the crime, why don't y'all take your black asses on a flight? Rob Smith, you in Florida. Kim Klacik, you in Baltimore. Jump on a flight. Let's go walk through South Side of Chicago. Let's go talk to the people. Them two bastards still ain't go yet. And this was over a year ago. Y'all could go stay on the Miracle Mile. You could go do that. You go stay in Trump Tower out there in Chicago. But come down to the hood. Come talk to black people. See the black experience. They didn't want to go do it. Imagine how they would have looked if they would have went. Probably still would have been cooning, but you know.
I really want to understand.
So let's take immigration. That's a hot button issue right now, especially in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
My view is that you should come here the legal way, and that if you don't come here the legal way, you are subject to the laws of the country. But I also feel that if you're
would disagree with that.
yeah. Well, I'm just
Right, correct. But notice how you mentioned LA. Why didn't you mention Miami, him deporting all those Haitians? Are they not melanated people? Just asking for friends.
means that a lot of people, especially where I'm from San Diego, will like to put black conservatives in this box. And the reason why I say specifically in my claim that black people need to walk away from the Democratic Party is because every single election cycle, all they do is use us as their tokens. They use us as their kind of election tools. They use us as these candidates.
ABL and the rest of them are nodding their heads in agreement. Sir, did you not just watch what happened in 2024? They couldn't use that. You literally had black commentators on MSNBC saying they're voting the couch. You had Roland Martin having fits every other night that black folks were like, I need tangibles. Command me. I'm not going to vote for you just because you claim to be black. You need to give me some. You saw the backlash after she put out that stuff for black men. You saw it. You saw how we gave Van Jones hell for sitting there trying to cape for it. You saw it. You saw Joy Reid trying to tell us, hey, black men, you need to go outside. Why are you contradicting yourself? But all right.
Campaign posters, they tell us to come to their rallies, they tell us to sing on their stages, they tell us to do all these things, and they forget about us 3 other years, and they remember us 3 years later. Every single cycle, it happens again and again. And I'm one of the people, like, I really appreciate you because it seems like you have a love for the black community and you have a love for people, and I appreciate that. And I do too, because I don't express that in the same way as, let's say, as a black person who's a member of the Democratic Party. I get called Uncle Tom, I get called a racist, I hate myself, I love myself, and I love our people. I love everything about us. We have done so much for this country. We built this table that everyone is seated at. We deserve rights. We deserve all these things. However, what I don't like more than that, more than anything, is being used. It's being used by politicians, being used by governments as some type.
You watched the GOP use you, and you didn't say a word about it. The GOP right now is using black people as an arbiter to push that crime bill. You're not saying a damn word about it. You worried about them Democrats. Guess what? Newsflash, homeboy. Them Democrats are going to be the same ones that you complain about. They're going to be the same ones sitting up there voting for that damn crime bill. You want to do this again? We can do it again. It's just going to be the reverse of 94. That man is actively right now looking at the National Black History Museum and saying some of that shit got to come outside. That can't go in there no more. Wait till he finds out about that Emmett Till exhibit in the basement. That's gonna be gone if he gets his way.
Puppet to say, here's my black person that's voting for me. I don't like that, and it makes me sad. No matter your Democrat,
Great cram sauce, and the GOP did the same thing. They're retarded too.
I completely agree. I would add to that it's no different with the conservative party. That there is 1,000% a use of black people.
You mean a conservative movement, not a party?
A concerted effort to literally, quote unquote, make America great again. The concept of make America great again did not start with Donald Trump. It started with Ronald Reagan, and it happened right after the Civil Rights Movement. There was a very strong, visceral response by white people after the Civil Rights Movement, after the Voting Rights Act of 1965, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Fair Housing Act.
He said, name 2 things that Democrats did for black folks in the past 10 years. Whip up white people and whip up black people. That's all they did. You want to know 2 things the GOP did for black people in the last 10 years? Try to make Donald Trump look like a black person and actively sit there and bring back slavery in this country through 3 states. Actively try to make black people look like, oh, the reason we got to change all these laws is because of black people. Fuck them both. Now ask me another dumb question. I know it's dumb because you're a smooth brain. You don't think like that. Until your favorite social media person tells you how to think, you don't know how to think.
1969, the Economic Opportunity Act of 1965. These were all efforts that were put in place.
I have peaks and valleys on mine.
Okay, fine. Here, damn, we gonna give you a little.
You have the Arizona desert on yours.
Bit of something.
That's why your name is Sauce.
Get your weight up. After that, there was a active effort made by conservatives, because that's also when we saw the flip between the Democratic and Republican parties. There was a flip. That's actively what happened. There was a flip. And we
Sir,
saw-
I don't need to regurgitate your stupid ass insult. You're dumber than me. You can't even get to 33 because your brain is sauce. You try to put a quart of sauce in a Gerber bottle. Go do something with your life. Go watch AI porn of Trump, because I'm sure that's what you were doing before you walked in here. Have fun. We not stopping you.
It has been the party of slavery, the party of racism.
There was a flip because the Democrats were more aligned with making these civil rights concessions than the Republicans. That's the flip. Ultimately, though, the flip is what people are misappropriating, because the flip isn't a 180, okay? If the flip is literally just, we was this and now we this. And that is not the same as we are for black people. The Democratic Party is not for black people, nor is the Republican Party. Any nation that has a bipartisan system that doesn't even allow for its own people to determine who are going to be the candidates for president isn't for its people in general, beyond blackness. So it's imperative that we begin to truly understand the systems at work in this government that not only hinder us as black people, but they hinder anyone who wants to see change, because they are ultimately working together. Now, do we see one party activating higher levels of discrimination than others? Yes. Do we see one party that is more violent per se than others? Yes. And we can say this on many different levels. But when it comes to like enacting genocide or destabilizing other nations, we know
That's
that
both.
happens on an American level, regardless, okay? I completely agree that the idea that you have to act a certain way as a black person is really problematic, because the Democrats and the Republicans, neither of them actually care about black people. And when we talk about conservatism, or we talk about being a liberal, neither of these aspects were grounded in how do we help to repair the harm that we have caused an entire group of people who made it possible for us to even have a constitution. So you can sit here and show me whatever you want.
No. The only reason why I was going to show you this is because
even with that constitution, we weren't even humans.
What?
When they wrote it.
So that was another fact check I wanted to kind of fact check before, but I couldn't say anything. But the 3/5 compromise had nothing to do with your 3/5 of a person. The 3/5 compromise had to do with representation in Congress. So there's a little note here, if you open this.
The 3/5 compromise said that the Southern slaveholders needed to be represented fairly in Congress. And because there were so many more slaves than actual white people in the South, they were allowed to count their slaves as representation, even though those slaves did not have the ability to vote.
If we were at that time, let's say the 3/5 compromise never happened, we were a whole person as a light of the government, right? If that happened, then this America would not be the America that you know today. Because what it was is, if it was, we were counted as
You're defending the 3/5 compromise,
Can you
bro.
just listen? Can you listen? No, listen for a second.
Okay.
Because I don't want you to get mischaracterized what I'm saying, okay?
Okay.
Slavery was wrong. It was absolutely disgusting and immoral thing.
Okay.
I have nothing good to say about that.
Uh-huh.
But the 3/5 compromise, if you counted a person who was a slave as a whole person at that time,
yes,
most of the slaves were held in the south of the Mason-Dixon line,
I just
right?
said that, yes.
So what would happen is they would have more representation in Congress, and thus those laws that were, by the abolitionists, those would have been gone. Okay, so that would have gave the South more power to do the things that they couldn't do. So that's why they said
that's not what it means, sir.
If it's 3/5 compromise, they don't get that power. But of course they're people, so they have to say something, and that's where this came into play. Because if it wasn't for that, this country would have looked a lot differently.
So you're suggesting that it was okay for slaves' bodies to not only be used for labor, but also used to empower those who are harming them to be fairly represented in government?
I think it's absolutely, they should have been used, period.
Okay, so then we agree on that.
Yeah,
we agree on that.
It was absolutely abhorrent. There's no excuse for it. There's no justification for it.
So then where's the argument? Because ultimately, when there was an opportunity in Reconstruction for there to be equality and humans considered in a real way and protected,
Democrats torched it. Andrew Johnson.
Yes, as well as the Supreme Court. That's actually more important. What we have to acknowledge. The Supreme Court torched it. The Supreme Court has actively, throughout this entire existence of this nation, been at the forefront of impeding any advancement, and it ends up sending us back over and over and over again because it doesn't have term limits, because it doesn't have term limits. You know, it's not elected, it's appointed, and ultimately they have made it abundantly clear that they pick and choose when it's the states that are going to have rights and when they're going to be in a federal position of precedence.
Well, that has to do with the supremacy clause. So the supremacy clause is when a federal law is in conflict with the state's law. The federal law will override. For example, in California, weed is legal, right? But federally it's not. So they could come down here and they could say, hey, we're going to raid all these places, and they would be completely in line with the law.
And so this is how segregation and discrimination ended up existing even after the civil rights laws of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment were passed, because Congress said we need to protect black people, and the Supreme Court said we actually are not going to give you the right to do so. For what it's worth, I think we can do this back and forth all day, but at the end...
All right, that was that. An hour and a half, and we've been here for over 3. There you go. I'm telling you, I'm very interested to see how ABL is going to spin this. He going to make it seem like everything he was saying was right. And I'm going to tell him, when I see that video, dude, first off, you were regurgitating white think tank talking points, number 1. Number 2, you said nothing. Like, literally didn't say anything. How do you let Dion from My Brother and Me cook you? How do you let a chick who had to go yell at people because on the show that she was on, they had on AKA? You tried to argue with a woman who argues for a living, who is known for arguing. Tethermania was running wild. You ain't lied. That Ed Golden dude, I'm telling you, he fit to become pro-black. He might go around and be a hotep. Surprisingly, my head doesn't hurt. I was actually invigorated. Amanda Seals, I can't believe I'm saying this. She actually beat him. I can't believe it. This is crazy. The Caribbean women are 2-0 against Jubilee. This is hilarious. Tethermain ran out there as the baby coon and said nothing. And I'm still pissed off that they had that pregnant chick there and she didn't get to talk. They finna bring her back again, you know that. Nasty work. Well, I might as well enjoy the views now, because once Jubilee find out I did this breakdown, they gonna copyright it. So it is what it is. If they do that, whatever. We already got the views, and hopefully we get the money. I'll just probably put it on members only. Screw it. I kind of wanted to do it on Rumble, but you know, it is what it is. Anyway, y'all, I might jump on the other channel. Somebody who has a wrench, put that other channel in the chat. I might go over there and play video games for a little bit. But anyway, y'all, hopefully you learned something. If you did, I done my job. If not, I try to be better next time. I got an upload coming that I told y'all about with Sydney Sweeney and Beyonce. And yeah, we'll see you when we see you. I'm not going to do that 3 o'clock live. I'm going to push it back a little bit. So y'all take care, stay safe, and you know what to do when the agents of chaos come to mess up your existence.